Welcome back, everybody. This is Mark 178 of Geeks Chasing Squirrels Across the Multiverse. My name is Greg. I am the Bat Daddy 52, and I've got 4 words for you this week. Go, go, Power Rangers. Or maybe that's 3 words and a hyphen. I'm not sure. When I start to think about it like that, it feels like math, and that's not a good idea. Anyway, we got a lot of stuff to talk about this week. We got a special guest. It's going to be a really, really good time. I'm going to introduce the regular cast and crew, and then we'll roll into what we've got going on. Ross, what's up, man?
You got me stuck now with this math thing. I'm sitting here trying to make an algebra problem. Yeah. Like, well, technically it's 2 to the power of 2 or 1 to the power of 2. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, no. It's been a week, day off. I know some people have had bad days. My day's been okay. I'm actually enjoying today. Friday's been a good day for me.
Hell yeah. Sarah, what's up?
I'm doing a lot better now. My work day's done. Let's get into shit we love because I'm over bullshit.
This week, Sarah earns the E.
I was just gonna say that's Lord. Funny. There we go. Yeah.
Good gracious. Yeah. It's been a challenging week. But you know what? It's over. I'm here with my brothers from another mother. So there you go. That's all I gotta say.
Oh yeah. And you know what? GalaxyCon is just getting closer.
Oh God, yes.
Every single day, it's just getting closer and closer and closer. So that's gonna be the fun part. Well, folks, we got a lot of fun stuff to talk about this week. We have 2 finales. Titans comes back and is taking maybe a weird turn. I don't know if we're going to talk about that. Power Rangers comes back. The OG Power Rangers, the one I grew up with. Oh, I can't wait to talk about this one. And like I said, we have a special guest on tonight. And we're going to talk about his work. And I'm going to go ahead and bring him in. He's not really sitting in the background. He's just kind of sitting here patiently with us. Zach Howard. Zach is I'm sorry, I had your bio pulled up right here. Zach is a professional comic book artist for 23 years, working with DC, Marvel, Nickelodeon, Image, Dark Horse, IDW. Man, you've been around with all kinds of stuff. Hellboy, Wild Blue Yonder, Shaun of the Dead, Venom, Wolverine, G.I. Joe. There's a good chance you've seen some of his stuff. We're here tonight to talk about Moonshine Bigfoot, and he's with us. Zach,
hey, how you doing, buddy? I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. Nice to meet you all. I'm ready to dork out with you, though I do have a quick Power Rangers 1 degree of separation story. Though I used to watch the show with my nephew a little. I just barely saw it. However, my current editor, Chris Ryle, who's publishing, we're going through his imprint for Image for Moonshine Bigfoot. He is also the writer of the Shaun of the Dead that I did. That was I did his first comic book. That was 2004. Regardless, he tried to be an actor or was an actor early on in his LA life, and he is in episode 3 of Power Rangers. He's the dork that the bullies turn over, and I think they throw him in the trash can. So
okay.
So those that see OG Power Rangers episode number 3, that is my editor.
All right. I'm actually thinking about going back with my kids and rewatching that whole series right there.
There you go. Look for the kid in the trash can.
I will now.
Give old Ryle a shout out.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Well, Zach, it's great to have you on, man. We're here to talk about Moonshine Bigfoot. So just kind of walk us into the story here, and we'll kind of display the artwork you sent me for it. You've got a trailer we'll talk about, and we'll just kind of run through general questions for it.
Well, thanks. Moonshine Bigfoot. Basically, our tagline is the greatest cryptozoological action adventure comedy of all time. It's kind of an absurdist world that we came up with. It's best way to describe it is a loving satire of 1980 Americana and pop culture. So
yeah.
we're kind of gluing together kind of a loving ribbing of a pop culture of that era that I grew up in when I was, 5, 7, 8 years old. So think shows like Dukes of Hazzard, Smokey and the Bandit, but you also had the first wave of Japanese animation like G-Force, Robotech, Speed Racer, which the cover I'm doing right now is an homage to Speed Racer. All those things like that where you get kind of an innocent era of pop culture where it's not too deep. They just come up with a fun, high concept, and you just get lost in it, and you're in and out without the heavy weight of the world bearing down on the actual story and things like that. I guess that's why it was so accessible, I think, to children back then. Well, being an old bitter Gen Xer like myself, I miss having fun in stories, and I think comic books are kind of lacking severely in comedies and fun action adventures. Everything's really heavy-handed, right now, and almost suffocating, and it beats you over the head like a drum. Where I want, what I want with this book is for people to chuckle and follow endearing characters, knowing they're going to have a wacky adventure, and you can come away from it cleanly, again, without feeling like you just got finished watching Saving Private Ryan or something like that. A tough movie like that. There's a place for everything, but we're trying to, I think, fill a missing hole in comic books, and that's a fun, well-made comic book. That was our goal with Moonshine Bigfoot. As far as the story goes, it's basically it started as a satire of the Dukes of Hazzard. Me complaining about the Dukes of Hazzard, that they, if you're going to remake Dukes of Hazzard 7, why don't you just have Bigfoot driving it, so we could have and from there, me and my writer actor friend that came up with this, the world kind of wrote itself from there. And now it's become it's an Alice in Wonderland world where we use Bigfoot as the foundational voice of levity and reason. So he's the only normal person basically in our universe, and everybody else is batshit crazy. And we just built a fun world around that. And just to quickly run through it, his awesome hippie girlfriend that he's in love with, she makes a living by selling pictures of her feet through catalogs back in the 80s. Her version of OnlyFans back there. Very proud. She's a successful lady. But she was blessing some of her sweaty socks that she was going to sell in the harvest moon, and she dropped her psilocybin mushrooms in her boyfriend's still. Well, all the mushrooms grew into it, and it created a special new type of moonshine, which then basically opens Pandora's box, because it's so potent that it triggers our version of the Illuminati to come after him to try and stop this moonshine from being distributed. And I don't want to give too much away, but this moonshine's able to, if you drink it, you basically have They Live glasses, and you can see through propaganda and stuff like that. So the conspiracy that rules the world can't control you if you see through it. So they have to go get Bigfoot. So he has to do more than just run from the buffoon cops in the neighborhood. Yeah. So, and we do fun things like we pay homage to Superman. Bigfoot's parents' forest is burning it down in the Pacific Northwest, and they get the baby Bigfoot right before they die, and their world explodes on a logging truck. Baby Bigfoot is on the back of the logging truck, hits a bump, falls out around on the border of Alabama and Georgia, is picked up and raised by a pair of childless moonshining couple, moonshining couple, and raise them as their own, and the town folk just accept them as the local hairy kid. So
that is pretty awesome.
It's a coming of age story told through a ridiculous perspective. So we're hiding an endearing aspect of this story through a comedy adventure.
Yeah. So. Well, I want to hand the mic to Sarah real quick. Beforehand, I want to say I love the idea of filling the comedy into the world, because you're right, everything is so heavy right now. That feels like a niche right now that can be filled. We've had a couple of creators come on that have taken a kind of a comedic role with the work they're doing. So it looks like it's kind of an approach people looking at comics. I love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Sarah, you got any questions?
Well, like I said, the first thing I kind of noticed is like I got the Dukes of Hazzard feel, because I'm Gen Xer right here as well. So I love that, and I I can kind of feel the comedy out of it. So it looks like a fun ride, dude. I mean, it looks like it's because I mean I can kind of see the parallels. So that's why I'm waiting to hear more about this because I don't really have questions. It's just like I just want to see more. I want to see more of the story because it was wild.
Yeah, we think we built lightning in a bottle here. It just kept writing itself. In fact, to the point where we got a sequel already planned. Yeah, I'm glad you're curious about it, and that's what we're trying. We know we're creating something new here, and it's tough sometimes to get people to take a chance. But with this one, we really think we have something here, whether you're Gen X or not. I think, we got a lot to offer. There's so many jokes in this. We basically have to edit them out so we can tell a damn story. We have here's a good nugget. We have an escaped Chuck E. Cheese repurposed robot. He's been repurposed as all the animatronics Chuck E. Cheese dolls. One has been repurposed as Ronald Reagan, and so he's just a Chuck E. Cheese robot, and occasionally, like say during the State of the Union address, he'll just go into a 20-minute pizza song about the deals at 2 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon about pizza. And then while everybody's sitting there politely just going through it, nobody acknowledges that this guy is actually just singing about pizza. And that's how we built our world. The guy who runs the black market, Uncle Pineapple, he's a disgraced former child show host that still wears keeps his ventriloquist doll around that actually runs the black market while he just pukes and drinks the whole time. The whole world's just set up like that. And we think we got a gem here. And like something like, say, Ghostbusters, we're not just trying to do shtick. We're trying to do endearing characters that you want to go on an adventure with. So when they do win the day, or if they do win the day, it means something to you. And, it's the reason those stories last. Not only are they damn near the funniest movie ever made, the characters are brilliant. You want them to win. You want them to get in bad, stupid situations, but you're rooting for them to win. And that's a special character to create. It's hard to create. That's why not everybody can do it. But we're trying hard to do that, to make a lasting, fun comedy that is, again, also a coming-of-age story kind of hidden in there, just in the guise of a 7'5" hairy dude that likes aviator glasses and hot rods. So we're pretty excited. We got one hell of an artistic team. We got Steve Ellis, who's 33, 32 years in the comic book industry. He used to draw Lobo. Now he's a famous Magic the Gathering painter, and this is his first kind of non-young adult comic he's done in forever. And he's really neat because he's a cartoonist, and that's the reason I brought him into this project. He's a really dynamic cartoonist, and anybody who knows my crap, it's really heavy-handed, heavy textured, like you saw with the Hellboy. Man, I'm hired to do moody, bloody, blood and guts stuff. I'm Joe Hill's guy that we did the Cape together. Hellboy, Aliens, all that type of stuff. So bringing Steve in, I seldom ink others. I used to do it on Justice League and stuff, but I'm mostly known for being a penciler and inker, the full illustration. But bringing Steve in loosens me up a little bit, if that makes sense. And we're taking his kind of awesome animated style, and then we put my hyper rendered crap on top of it. And somewhere in between, we get peanut butter and jelly. See this drawing of Bigfoot that we're looking at right now? That is literally the first drawing that we did together.
That's amazing.
So there's something magic about us working. And then we have Nelson Daniel, my normal cohort, who collects Eisner nominations like the newspaper. I think we have something special. We not only have a really well told, funny story, I think we're going to just blow your socks off with the artwork. I think we can compete with almost anybody. And I think that's a rarity in comedy books, having, I think, substantial art in it. At least what we're trying to bring is substantial art. I guess I should be a little more humble about it. But we're trying to rock and roll here, and we're bringing the literal fire. As you can see, we are trying, we're bringing everything to the table that I think our combined, 70 something years of a comic book experience and hundreds of books, all that coming together for this fun. It's fun to do something creator owned again, and we're trying to make it special. We're even trying to make the campaign special.
Yeah.
On the Kickstarter. Did that just age me? Did I just call it not Kickstarter? I called it the Kickstarter.
Don't worry.
We're smoking the
I'm
pot.
not
I say the Walmart and all kinds of stuff all the time.
Yeah. So we're inviting everybody. I think if everybody sees the trailer, they'll see how much fun we're trying to have with this. It's a well-told, absurdist comedy with and impact. 100-page story.
You cut
Oh, there you go. I came back. Good. But it's 100 pages, four books through Image. It comes out in February. Image signed it off of just the concept art and a paragraph write-up from me. So, and then as a guest at C2E2 here a couple weeks ago, and that's when we launched this. And I mean, we funded in 11 hours. That was the bare minimum of what we needed. But what it showed us, I mean, we did 45, 50 free commissions. We're doing for backers. You got a free commission from Steve and I. And I drew until my fingers fell off. And it just felt like we have lightning in the bottle here. People are responding to it well, which only hyper motivates us to kick even more ass because it looks like people are paying attention to it. Sorry, I'm blathering so much.
Mm-hmm. You're good. Ross, did you have anything?
You're pitching it fantastically. I mean, just with all of the few images that I've seen, it looked fun.
There's Uncle Pineapple.
Right off of the drawings. Oh, and by the way, if you're not using that sucker holding the Reagan dude holding a piece of pizza, it's trickled down Greasonomics.
Greasonomics.
Trying to find some way to
That's got to be one of the lyrics in the song, huh?
There you go.
That's great.
I love the craziness. I love the off the wallness, the animation idea, and how you guys are mixing your styles. Fantastic. I love that type of hybrid storytelling in any manner when it comes to the actual story you're trying to create, the images you're trying to put on paper, the idea of what you want people to feel. Because you're right. I mean, make it happy, make it fun. This screams that right off the bat. And like I said, the way that you describe it, perfect.
Honor. That's great to hear.
You had us just sitting here rolling the whole time while you were describing it because it's perfect. Awesome. It truly is. I mean, is Bigfoot a 2-foot driver with 1 foot? I mean, how did you did get me with the car? I'm like, Bigfoot's driving a car. This sucker. Like, look at this dude. Yeah. He's Popeyed out. He's got 4 arms and feet for days. So like, what is happening right here with this? I did like the idea of the girlfriend sitting there doing her nails, and you're right, straight up OnlyFans before it was OnlyFans.
Yeah, we had to come up with something, and something she's proud of, in kind of a modern take on woman empowerment. But we didn't have things like, it had to be absurdist too. So there you go. She's a proud businesswoman, so she has to get her feet done in the middle of this car chase through the hills, which I'm sure Sarah can relate to. As it
gotta look cute.
Gotta look good by the time you get there. So she has things to do. So she can't stop for base or cliff jumps and etc.
All right.
I have a sister who just got her hair done
There,
before she was going to go four-wheeling wearing a helmet. So I understand what you're talking about.
there you go, woman after Amethyst's heart. So, but she ends up being like all of our characters, or whenever you read one of my creator-owned books or indie books, we try to make all the characters substantial. There's no cardboard cutouts. So Amethyst has a substantial role. It's really easy to make a story with the ditzy girlfriend, but we wanted to have this hot, kind of uniquely hot girlfriend. You know, she's not your typical cheerleader. She's a very unique person unto herself, and they're very much in love. It's not just the ditzy bimbo of the week or something like that. We wanted to have a substantial relationship, as the story's about doing the right thing. In the, when Bigfoot has to go through his crucible, doing the hard choice, even though it's hard, because it's the right choice. And I think it's better to have strong relationships between characters rather than just a flimsy, again, cardboard cutout just hanging around him, saying stupid
right.
one-liners.
But on the other hand, what you also created was someone who shows their feet off, who is in love with Bigfoot.
There you go. It's all full circle.
There you go.
So hell is the people that I think it's Barbara and Bill Foot are the people that adopt them too. Foote. So we try to just we're beating you over the head with it, with the circular puns.
Love it.
And stuff
Love
like
it.
that. So I don't know. I don't want anybody thinking I have some weird thing going on. It's just when he got Bigfoot, you gotta sing the song you're given, right? So, yeah. And I challenge everybody to watch that trailer, and we busted our butt on the animation. We hired a VO artist that does sound like Waylon Jennings, the Good Old Boys.
Sounds good, yeah.
Yeah, we're really trying. In fact, my friend Damon Smith, if you're on my social, I've just posted the new Quick Cut video. We have a hip hop song. He's a professional rapper, buddy of mine. Just because he liked the IP, he did a song for us. So I just posted that on my social.
Nice.
Sounds professional. I can believe I got a professional hip hop song about a book I haven't even finished writing yet.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah.
So far so good on this. And again, I challenge people to watch that trailer and not be interested. It's something else. Pretty proud of it.
Talk to me about this character right here, because just from looking at him in the image, I'm assuming bad guy.
Yes, he's our antagonist. He's Thaddeus the 13th. He is the heir apparent for our version of the Illuminati, which is called Big Level. And this is his big first challenge. And he has too many resources, and his shoes are too big to fill. He comes from a long legacy that's highly critical of him. But he's I can't give too much away, but he's going to be our antagonist for Bigfoot.
Okay.
He's the one, with the responsibility to make sure that Big Level still controls the world, and this is an existential threat. This moonshine that can make you see through propaganda and falsehoods.
Yeah.
So he's doing everything. Excuse me.
I'm just saying, what was it? Is that Sam Jackson the beer? Like, he'll get you fucked up.
He as you can see with the helmet, we're trying to bring in early Asian influences, art and things like that. He's overfunded, has too much technology, etc. It's all thrust and no vector, shall we say?
Gotcha.
And he's going to be coming 100% after Bigfoot, and we even pull upon Voltron. I can't give away too much, but there's going to be a monster in this book. And when the bad guys were fighting Voltron, instead of using all their resources to go after the home planet and just blow it up, they build these hyper complicated monster machines to go after Voltron that he then cuts in half within minutes. And but I've never understood that. If they got all these planet shifting technology and fleet, why don't they just blow up the damn planet where Voltron is?
No.
So I kind of
over
took that
engineering.
theme, and so he has this wildly complicated tech, and they're going to use it to do just absurdist stuff, like build monsters rather than just, you know, nuking where Bigfoot lives and stuff like that. So we have a Chupacabra storyline in it that's kind of interesting, and he's going to be our other cryptid. Here's Thaddeus again. He's trying too hard to be basically your super villain, and he's super insecure what people think of him because, you know, he knows he's a crappy leader. Thus, that bottom one during our concepts, he wears a lot of, like, if you ever see Undercover Boss, it's the world's worst disguises.
Right.
Like a $3 wig and like crooked plastic glasses with no lenses. So he'll be like dressed in the janitor outfit in the hall just to see what other, like a technician has to say about him. And he's the most powerful man in the universe. So everybody has insecurities. His are prevalent in the middle of him trying to run the world. So good old Thaddeus.
Oh yeah.
I want to know about the catchers, the ones that you were kind of talking about, the Ghostbuster
Bigfoot
looking people.
hunters.
Yes.
ABFAC. We have a bunch of rival Bigfoot hunters. I'm really actually smitten with the patch I came up with there. I actually want that patch. We're going to have to make one day. But American Bigfoot aliens and cryptid hunters. So these are our doofy version of Scooby-Doo detectives. These are all a hodgepodge of guys, an ex-NASA scientist, your average Joe, and then your big fat Mississippi hillbilly. They're all people that have witnessed Bigfoot. It's like got a glimpse of them. And they're obsessed with finding Bigfoot, and they've got mail order technology, stupid radios, and they're just way more gear than sense. And of course, they can't get along that well. And in an over-equipped, stupid RV with satellite dishes on it, always chasing Bigfoot. He's always a step ahead of him. One of our opening scenes, we reveal that Bigfoot loves fooling around with him, so he hires the local 8-year-old kid to strap on Bigfoot feet, and he feeds him Slim Jims and Pop Rocks as he walks around the forest in these Bigfoot feet, just leading him into nowhere, you know, the creeks, and then probably the comic book shop, and then, you know, things like that. So they're always bumbling, and they get kind of sucked into this inciting incident in the beginning of our book that involves the police, ABFAC, a rival moonshiner named Crank Torkelson, who he's our Wile E. Coyote of the Bigfoot being the Roadrunner. He like straps rockets onto the back of his hot rod cars. He thinks it's all about being faster, and so he's always trying to outrun Bigfoot. But he's going to be a lot of our comic relief. But he's not done yet. We're going to see what happens to him in Act 3, because he has.
What was his name again?
Crank Torkelson.
I like
love it.
So he's your good old boy greaser that doesn't like being second place. So I can beat Moonshine one day, and he, of course, he's in love with Amethyst too. We got to make it something else on the line.
Exactly.
He thinks he's winning. He's Bluto, okay, you know, but not as gross and mumbly.
Okay. So I'm looking at this patch, and that is a pretty cool patch right there. That'd be a really cool sticker.
We actually have stickers of it already for sale on our Kickstarter.
There you go. That'd be an awesome sticker to have. But I'm looking at it, and I see the UFO, and then I see in the background, I see another with the Bigfoot Moonshine. The UFO there, is that maybe a signal towards anything, or is it just
yes? Because during the inciting incident in issue 1, they're gonna think they see a UFO.
Okay, gotcha.
So they're chasing Bigfoot, and there's a UFO sighting here in issue 1. That's again part of the inciting incident. So I have to be a little coy.
I hear you. I didn't know if I was reading too far into that. If it was just
no, not at all. We try to make
like,
everything circular.
Yeah.
You know, everything leads to something. Everything's tied to something. All the threads make a fabric. So we put a lot of time in this, even though it feels like shtick. It's truly a deep story that we're trying to build here with endearing characters that you're going to care for by the end, even the bad guys.
There you go. That's what I'm looking for. Like I said, that comedic part is perfect. Anyway, well, do y'all want to watch the trailer?
Let's do it.
Play it. Let's do it. All right, cool. Let me stop this. This. Here.
Then I'll talk about the Kickstarter.
Yes, definitely.
So we think we got some cool stuff for you.
Did I do that? Let me stop because I don't think I did it with the audio. We've only been doing this for 4 years. So. Sure, all right, here we go. So there we go, and let's do that. And go all the way back. And here we go.
I bet you've heard a lot of tales about Bigfoot. Well, now it's time to set the record straight. Because we do things a little different here in Buzzard County. Because in this here story, the heroes are outlaws with hearts of gold and tanks of gas. These fellas might seem reputable, but they're bona fide retrobates. Sheriff's crooked as a dog's leg. Walter ain't bad. And the rest of these folks, well, hell. They're as weird as they come. Moonshine Bigfoot, the greatest cryptozoological action-adventure comedy of all time.
Here we go.
That is so well done.
Yeah.
So well done.
Bravo. Thanks, guys. Bravo. I forgot to mention Dennis the Ghost.
Yeah.
He's they don't know why yet, but he's an accountant that haunts Moonshine Bigfoot still. And Bigfoot doesn't think much of him, even though they have like deep philosophical conversations. And Dennis gives him advice. He thinks he's just hallucinating from all the moonshine fumes. So
all this guy does is talk about forms.
Yeah. Why is an accountant haunting my moonshine still? So we got a lot of fun little things that do tie together, but they're goofball little concepts, though. I mean, why is everybody haunted by a famous ghost? Wouldn't it just be every once in a while you got Joe the accountant or
a regular guy,
Bill the roadside construction guy? You know, just like.
Oh, yeah.
So we ran with that. But good. Thank you for playing the trailer. We're pretty smitten with it.
Yeah, that was fun.
It was awesome. The first time I watched it, I was like, man, this is amazing. Because like I try to do production work and stuff for the other shows that I'm on and everything, this one too. And it's just like, man, I want to get to a point where I can put something like that together one day.
Awesome, man. I'm sure you can. If I can, my old ass can, you can too. But yeah, we burned some calories on it because we want to show how much we're bringing to this. It's just not some run-of-the-mill book. We're bringing a top-level team doing our absolute damnedest to make this something, because we all want a job that we enjoy again, rather than having to slave away on books that feel like you're in a factory line just putting spindles in a box. And
I was going to ask that question for you, or from you. Like this, we'll call it, I mean, it's a pretty slutty environment, you have had your hands in all sorts of famous stuff, right?
Yes, horn around.
I mean, like, and how many original things have you been able to work on?
Like original?
Yeah.
Oh, not many. Only when I'm working with like Joe Hill or Sean Murphy, and I made a comedy in 2005 for Dark Horse called Outer Orbit. When I was negotiating a movie license for that recently, it kind of reminded me like that may have been the last time. And I feel fulfilled by the work I do, and I love it. And I'm so proud of Wild Blue Yonder, The Cape with Joe Hill, Hellboy with Mignola. Holy crap, he wrote me my own effing story for I mean, it's amazing accomplishments, and they'll always stay with me. But for just fun, the last time I had fun making a comic book was Outer Orbit, where Sean Murphy and I are literally doing space dildo humor, and Dark Horse.
Yeah.
That's all we cared about, is trying to out joke each other while we were making this book. And I was like, I don't remember. I mean, that was a rare time that it was fun going to work. It wasn't just like, ugh, you're proud drawing a lot of these books, and some are better than others. I've drawn things like Prince of Power, backup 4 books, and into Aquaman and stuff, where you're just kind of, I need to pay my mortgage, please. Let's get through this. And I'm honored to have all the jobs that I've gotten, but some aren't as enjoyable, and some are just outright nightmarish. So, and even the good ones are just tons of work, 70-hour weeks, and just grinding away, and you get a lot of creatives together, and it's just a lot of passive aggressive, poor, ugly people chewing at each other. And it's like touring with a barely recognizable rock band in a van, just going from shitty town to shitty town.
Why do you guys keep following me?
At each other. So I was just remembering that, and I'm working on my big opus right now, but it's about 450 pages, and I will continue that. But when this story came up, I just decided, after sitting with it for 6 months, I couldn't stop thinking about it. And then that, in conjunction with thinking about Outer Orbit, I was like, I really miss having fun. And that it just kind of became my mission. It thus led to the Kickstarter. Once Image picked it up on a concept, suddenly I had to make the damn book. I couldn't just think about it anymore. So we got real serious. We put together this super team. I got my old Shaun of the Dead editor publishing it through Image for me, with Ash Wood's backing. We got a hell of a thing going here. So we're just going to go full thrusters, treat this like it's a Hellboy production, but it's going to be this goofball comedy. And we will not let you down, man. We're going to curl your toes, blow your socks off. And I guarantee, at the very least, the artwork will compete with any book on the market. You have my absolute word. I hate second place. And on top of that, you're going to have a funny comedy where you can laugh about it, show your friends. You can all laugh at jokes, and read it again without, again, who wants to watch Saving Private Ryan every day?
Right.
Good movie. I'm glad I saw it, but it just kind of, it's the weight of it is just like, oh God, I am just going to go lay down for a while and not speak to anyone.
Sometimes you just want to watch Tommy Boy, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you want to sing along with him and watch his hair come up and, Farley fall down. And exactly. You need everything. You need everything in art and media and stories. But I think it's really lopsided right now. I think we need a little more balance. And not that our book alone will do that, but at least it'll be a little sanctuary island in the Pacific Ocean of sorrow and heavy social weights that are
a little ray of sunshine.
Exactly. Just a little bit. A little coconut tree island you can sit on for a little bit and enjoy a margarita. But I do want to speak real quick about the Kickstarter, because a lot of people don't know. Okay, Image picks up the book, we have to make the damn book. They don't pay for it. That's not how Image works. A lot of people are, there's a misnomer in indie books that somehow we have an income. So now that I have to make this, I have 5 people, including myself. We need a somewhat livable wage so we can pay the damn bills while we make this thing. We're already committed to doing side jobs while we build this to pay bills. But the more we can get for the Kickstarter, the more we can actually work on this full time, actually like respectable artists. Knowing that people taking a chance on our Kickstarter, and it is doing very well. We're very fortunate. We could use a few more shekels, but I know people have to take a chance to back a Kickstarter. And I understand that's asking a lot, and I don't take that lightly. So the creatives on our book, to make it worth, and we have a ton of fun tiers, from you get to be the talking role of bartender of Mr. Uncle Pineapple's Speakeasy. You can appear in the comic book as one of Bigfoot's drinking buddies and own that artwork and page from Steve and I. Covers, we got beer coasters, all sorts of stuff, T-shirts, or you can just back it, buy the digital book for $7, whatever, to sign books, which are rare. Seeing how Nelson Daniel, my longtime cohort, Chilean, there's very few books with both of our signatures on it. You'll get the entire creative book on all 4 issues, or signatures on all 4 issues. Nice. Anyways, to digress real quick, we know you're taking a chance on us, so we're trying to make this less of a chance, and no matter what, you get rewarded. We're taking our library of the hundreds of books that we've done, the ones that we can get the license for, we're giving away free books to every backer. Doesn't matter if you give us $1 of gas money. We've already hit 4 stretch goals. That means you get 13 free books, and they're not just crap. There's things like Ashley Wood's String Divers. You get my out-of-print most popular cover process sketchbook, which is about 15, 18 years of my most famous covers, and DVD behind the scenes. So you see from thumbnail to final artwork with all the DVD extras and me talking about whys and what the editors told me, what they needed. That was my most famous sketchbook out of print. You get that for free. You get Steve Ellis did a really fun book for DC back in the day called High Moon. You get the entire damn graphic novel for free. You get my Blacklist Underground podcast art, which is artwork team ups doing works with Dan Panosian, Jeff Johnson, heavy hitters like that, artists. You get that book free. You get all 4 of Claire Meese out of print sketchbooks and for free. You get American Kaiju for free. And this all happens at the very end of the campaign. So what we're trying to show, you can even scroll down a little bit. You'll see them if you can do it. No big deal. Yeah. But we're trying to reward everyone and basically say, we know you're taking a chance. So even if you don't like our series, you got to like one of these 13 books. You're getting entire graphic novels, things like that. Sorry, it's down a ways. Hey, there's the new poster cover, by the way. That's an homage to kind of early 80s, like painted movie covers. So that's our cover B for issue 1. Get some interior pages. But I really want people to know that we're trying our best. We're not just asking you to take a chance. We're hedging the bets. We know we're going to make a good book. Here we go, the stretch goals. So the first one you get are the first 3 books are American Kaiju. That comes from our animation studio. We're trying to make it fun for people. That was the first tier. And then if you go down, there you go. Oh, look at this. Ben Templesmith's Groom Lake you get for free. You get my Blacklist Underground. So you get famous artists mixed with myself doing combined artwork for that art book. And you can't even get that anymore. It was only available for podcast Patreons and people. I had some extras that people got on like when I've been doing shows and stuff like that. But it's really hard to get. Of course, Ben Templesmith speaks for himself. And there's Groom Lake. Shadow's Daughter, another of our animators' books. And then if you scroll down a little bit more, here's our first really huge one. There's the famous sketchbook I told, my famous sketchbook, at least, the Process cover sketchbook. And then to the right, you see High Moon, which is Steve Ellis's. That's the whole first volume, the whole graphic novel you get. So very cool stuff. And then if you go down one more level, here we go. We get Claire Meese 4 out of print sketchbooks, and they're wildly famous on Instagram. She has 100,000 followers. These are impossible to get. And now you have 4 PDFs of it. And there's that last one is Ashley Effin Wood's String Divers. So, and we're going to come up with another one. We still have, I think, 8 days left in the 8 days left in the campaign. I'm just saying, I don't even know what to say. I'm blathering at this point yet again.
Yeah.
I just want people to realize we're giving you as much as possible. Plus all the merch, plus all these other things, all the pledges. We tried to come up with fun stuff. We're going to have a couple fun last minute ones for everybody. As you can see, we've had Craig Russell is jumped on here. Ben Caldwell, Nick Runge, my famous painter friend.
Mm-hmm.
We got some big people behind this, and I really hope people will take a chance. Here's another thing that we're doing. Our entire crew, you can see, I don't know why we have a theme with bald heads right now, but there's Claire Meath, there's my big goonish self, our actor writer behind us standing some reason managing us, and then the long-haired dude is Steve Ellis. Still looks like he plays in a grunge band from 1992. It's wonderful. This is us doing the drink and draw at C2E2 for that benefited St. Jude's. And it went so well, and we had so much fun. We wanted to show that we appreciate people backing us, truly do. It's not lip service. So we're giving a portion of the proceeds of our money to St. Jude's at the end of this. We want to spread the love. We're obviously not rich, but I think it's foolish not to give back a little bit. And that's a charity that I believe in. So by supporting us, you give us the ability not have to draw Aquaman backup annual stories to pay the bills. 2, you give independent creators their freedom, so I don't have to go back and be a dancing monkey for people and make them rich, because that gets old. I'm tired of making people lots of money while, I'm not destitute, but I definitely could use a few more shekels. I'm sure everybody can understand that feeling.
Yeah, of course.
And by helping us, we're trying to reward everybody and just show we truly, truly appreciate you taking a chance on us. We got an unbelievable cast here. We're all believers in this. We got Image behind us. Kickstarter made us some projects we love, and now they're promoting it as well. We think we have something special here. I would say just at least give us a chance. At least you can even do gas money. It's an effing $1. And you get those 13 books. Yeah. And if you order any of the books, you now have 17 books. So odds are one of them is going to tickle your toes.
There you go. Man, I love it. I love the concept. I love what you're doing. I love everything you're putting back into it, how hard you're working, the giving back. Everything about this is fantastic. I'm going to include the information to contact, or not to contact, but to be able to find the Kickstarter. You said you have 7 more days left?
Yeah, I believe it's 7.5 or something. Let's just say 7. And even after, say this is still out and about, we'll have a backer kit, so you can still order the book. The campaign won't be running or anything like all the dynamic choices will be gone. You'll be able to get the series and or some T-shirts and merchandise and stuff. Which the merchandise is pretty fun. We even got our keychains, and tomorrow our coffee mugs hit. And that's the one I'm going to get. So,
there you go. Well, Sarah, Ross, do y'all have anything else you want to ask?
I'm glad you're having fun with it, man. Like that, I think that's what makes the difference. I think that
I agree.
You get to tell your story. You guys get to have hopefully a fun time doing it, and That should be the American way. There you go.
Thanks,
Or
Ross.
Chilean. Bring in everybody. That should be the international way. Have fun with what you
It
do.
should be everybody's. You only get to live once. Don't you want to smile and have a good time with the people you like? And hell, even people you don't like. If everybody could just have a good time, this place would be a rock and roll party every day.
There you
You'd
go.
be like jumping out of bed. What am I missing? You know? So there's no reason it shouldn't be like that. So, make your own reality. And that's what we're doing. Ours just involves a guy named Uncle Pineapple that pukes.
Best of luck with it all, man.
Thanks, Ross.
Sarah, do you have any?
I just spread your sunshine, dude. That's all I got to say. I mean, this is, like I said, it looks like a fun time, and we need more of that in this world. Honestly, everything doesn't have to be all doom and gloom and heavy and that kind of stuff. So, let's have a wild ride. Let's paint toenails while we're in the middle of a car chase. I mean, hey man,
let's do it, Sarah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm down, man.
Let's get going.
Yeah.
We got hills to jump.
No doubt.
Heavy foot on the gas.
That's right. Zach, it's been an amazing time, man.
I really appreciate this.
Yeah, I really appreciate it too, man. It's an awesome comic. I can't wait to check more out about it. And I do want to be in contact with you whenever you get out of here. My daughter is an amazing artist and wants to get into either animation or some kind of, stuff like this. So I'll be in touch with you, man.
Yeah, please do anytime. That's a passion of mine, is helping young artists not feel alone or directionless.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much once again. I'll include all the information to find you, find your social media wise, and find your work.
I couldn't appreciate it more. Thanks, guys. Wonderful to meet you. Hi to all your fans. And thank you for everything, guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thanks, Zach. I appreciate it, man.
Thanks, man. Nice meeting you.
All right, guys. We got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Have a good show, guys.
Oh, yeah, man. Thank you,
man. You mean there's even more?
There's a whole lot more. Because we haven't even gotten into the normal part of the show. I love having guests. And that was really cool. Zach's a really cool guy. A lot of really cool stuff. And I love having creators on here. It's really fun.
It brings a good vibe. And that sounds like a cool story.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
it really does.
All right. Well, let's get the regular show started then, I guess. We normally start with news and trailers. Ross and I was talking to you beforehand. There were some things I heard about, but I can't even remember what they are, so it couldn't have been that important. I know you were talking about, is there anything you really want to bring up right now? Want to discuss? I know there's a lot of great shows.
The only thing that I've been doing has been trying to figure out, and it could have been brought to light, but I haven't even looked today, about the legitimacy between this Fantastic Four casting is going to be a thing. If Reed Richards is going to be played by Adam Driver, I don't know. I'm not sure.
From all that stuff.
I'm not sure.
Stayed away from all that stuff.
It's been making circles, but
look,
that's it.
I mentioned to you that I saw in Ahsoka, possible spoiler, and to stay away, tread lightly with Star Wars stuff. Okay. So I don't know how true this stuff is. I'm not going to bring any of it up, but there is Ahsoka possible spoilers floating around the internet right now. As soon as you told me, did you guys hear anything about the Reed Richards or the Fantastic Four stuff? And I said, nope. Just haven't. I've just shut it all off. I haven't. No,
all you want to know
rumors.
is
I just want to.
You want to see a face. Real. I know what you're saying, though. I know what you're saying.
Real. I want to see it. Yeah.
But it was just so it was all over the place. I'm like, no, like I could see him as a Doom. I feel like I could have a whole lot more appreciation for him as a Doom, Dr. Doom. But yeah, no, that was it. And I was only bringing it up because for some reason, like it just flared up out of nowhere, and I'm like, okay, is anyone else?
Back it up. Yeah, just back it up and put it back where you found it.
Yep.
Now, Sarah, I had mentioned the Ahsoka spoiler, and you kind of perked up. Have you seen?
No, I don't want to know anything.
Okay.
I don't either. I don't even want speculation. I don't want no. The trailers have given me all I need, and I'm good.
Okay. I just want to know the cast. And I got that. Well, I now have most of it all. So now that I can, put faces to names for that, I don't want any more story than that trailer gave it, because exactly like you said, that trailer was phenomenal. Most of the time, the first trailer will give me just about everything that I want, and then I need to stop because I hate getting too much. And trailers have been doing that way too often lately.
Yeah. I could say that after seeing it, spoilers usually don't get me too bad. This one's not like, it could be a big spoiler if it's real, but it doesn't dissuade me away from anything about the show that I wanted, so it's cool. I'm totally cool with it, but just tread lightly because it is out there. And I'm sure as time progresses, it's going to become more and more prevalent. But all right, well, since there's no real news, no real trailers, and we got a lot of shows to talk about, y'all just want to hop right into it?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do Titans first, because for me, that was of the shows we watched this week, the least exciting one, at least for me.
All right, cool with it. Start.
Okay. Let's do Titans. I'm glad we got a Beast Boy story. I really am. It was an interesting Beast Boy story. I had no idea where they were going because this was just a solely Beast Boy story. Like, they've done the entire season and I've been wondering what's going on. They've been doing the entire show and I've been wondering what's going on with Beast Boy. And they finally give me a Beast Boy episode. Pretty good job. I like the story okay. I mean, there was nothing completely egregious in it. I don't know a ton about Beast Boy, so everything they're telling me is believable at this point. I'm not sure if they're making it up as they go. Kind of origin. I know Beast Boy from Young Justice. That's about it. Beyond that, I didn't have a problem with what they did. For some reason, I don't know why I didn't notice this before. That suit looks really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like that outfit he's wearing looks really, really good. I kind of thought of it just being like looked kind of like the Avengers time travel outfit at first. But the more I look at it now, I'm like, that was
Like
a really, really,
on the side.
it looks really, really good. So, what say y'all?
Well, I'm just gonna go ahead and give him my. I'm watching this, and I'm just like, what is? I feel like I should know what's going on. I feel like I should know who some of these people are, but I'm like, you know what? We're just gonna go for a ride. We're gonna see what's happening. So, in essence, it sounds like I don't know who the hell the other guy was with a helmet. I mean, I'm trying to piece it together, but I don't know if he's actually a real character or not. But basically saying, hey man, I'm about to pass my mantle over to you. Okay, well, still don't know what in the hell the tree means. Or either I was told way back when, I've just like completely forgotten it. The whole like the red, I'm like, can we explain this a little bit more? Or is it kind of like the Force where it's like everywhere? You know, that kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of interesting when, you did see Little Gar, hearing all this stuff and that kind of thing. I was like, all right, that's cool. But man, did it like totally just take a left, right, up, turn. I don't know what the hell was going on. Just, I mean, Bruce was laying across my lap and I'm just like, I can't even move, or I just don't even know what's going on right now. Just what? Or they're just throwing things up there, because there was a lot of images that we were seeing, and I'm trying to figure out where exactly he was, where all like these little windows were opening.
Mm-hmm.
I did get a kick out of seeing like Go Tight. Was it Go Titans Go, Little Beast Boy? I was like, oh, look, so cute. That's the Beast Boy I know.
Teen Titans Go. Yeah, my daughter loved Teen Titans Go growing up.
But can we talk about we'll talk about the cameo in a minute. I got
you cameos. Yeah.
So there was a lot of imagery.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, are we trying to connect something here? But then also the connectivity with our other favorite little show, Doom Patrol, because they mentioned Niles Calder, and I'm like, are we going back to the beginning? All right, here we go. We're gonna talk about how big an asshole he is again. How everybody hates him, how he kept fucking with shit. So that's kind of my general overall thoughts to begin with. And literally that's my brain going while I'm watching this.
Yeah, this one unpacked a whole lot for sure. That's for sure. So Ross, what do you think just overall, man? And we'll top in and break it down.
I looked at the episode titles like a way back before the season even started, and that's when they told you it's going to be a two-parter. So with this one being called "Dude, Where's My Gar," I'm like, oh well, this must be interesting. Like this must be like a Gar weird trippy episode, or either they lose him and they're trying to find out where he's at, which
is exactly what happened.
yeah, right. Sarah, you're asking about the tree briefly. I mean, the tree I think was kind of like the imagery as far as like how it's all connected. I like how universes can have heroes on so many different levels, not even levels, planes, you know, like they just exist in different ways in different areas. And even though there may be like a power, like a force that is cosmical, you know, it doesn't really relate to something magical or something spiritual. And so it's cool seeing heroes on those different levels. I didn't know Gar was going to be one of those. Like we've been given no information on Gar at all. And we've all said we want to see him turn into something else. Or like, why is it always green? We want to see him do more. Where is Gar in like the end of all this season? And like, these are the questions that we've kept on asking. These are reasons why, you know, this show is coming to an end, and like shows in this universe have been coming to an end because they keep leaving us wanting. They're not given the budgets that they deserve. And it bothers me because like, you can't just put all this out on blast right now. Like, you're going to give it to us at the very end, and we're just sitting here like,
I mean,
no, that's what
I'll be
I
able to unpack a little bit of this. We're just getting like just open, just throw it, just dumping out the whole suitcase.
Do you feel like maybe it was a plan they had moving forward? Now that they know, oh, we've only got a few episodes left, we might as well just unload everything. They're just unloading everything.
Yeah, it's always take your best ideas, because you never want to take your best ideas right off the bat. You want to build to them, right?
Right.
And that's classic storytelling. You know, the best idea we can come up with is going to be our long arcing story. But we have to tell things in between. So how do we get there without exposing it completely? But the Dominic character, dude, was like a Black Panther, but for some reason felt like Palpatine was in there. You know, it's like, yes, good.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is this guy doing? I did figure out that the person that gave him the helmet was an original. Oh my God, what was it called? Something Beast from 1967. So it is like comic accurate. All that stuff is in there. But episode as a whole, I found it to be an episode that I was truly watching of Titans. It was not one that had me sitting there looking at the clock or trying to make some sort of logical sense of how this brother Blood and his badass weird mom come into play with any of it, because I'm like, I need to know more. Like these stories used to be more focused on like how the evil character or evil plot was actually playing into the heroes' lives. And for some reason I feel like this season has been wandering because we were given Brother Blood, which I understand is a relative of, you know, a son of Trigon, and then makes him a relative to Raven, you know, or Raven the White in this season. It's just like, why now? Like, you guys had golden opportunities, and you're just laying it out on Front Street right now. I get Greg's point of view in a second, but what did you think about Gar actually changing in this episode?
I mean, that's what you want to see. You want to see Beast Boy. I mean, you want him to see him just, you know, just like you said, why is it just a tiger? You know, why is it just, you know, this? Why is it? So, I mean, I was glad to see it. And it was just instantaneous. So it's like, I'm wondering, like, are you like, like you hitting some kind of inner part where you can actually just on a whim now? I don't know.
I imagined him in his mind's eye, like, I'm a bat, like now I'm a gorilla, like chase me now, like now I'm this, you know.
That's what I would do. I'm a bird. Yeah. Okay, so my question is, and like I said, I did enjoy this episode, but I did have questions because they raised the problem right here. Can Beast Boy time travel now? Is that what it is? And if so, in this episode, did he time travel back to his young self and give his young self a pep talk and a hug, and then in real time now, all of a sudden have a realization and gain confidence, like he'd gone back butterfly effect, and now he's grown? Like, is that what it looked like happened? Because like he went to him and he was like he just had an epiphany, and he's just like gained all this knowledge that he didn't have before because now he grew up differently because he was hugged by his future self at that time as a stranger, you know, when he was younger. So
yes, he did, and no, he didn't.
Because now,
Yes, he did go
Like
back
an
and do that.
existential discovery.
Now
No, it
we're
did
having
not.
time travel issues, and it's like,
But
well,
I don't think that's what it did. I'm not in the camp that he changed his mind through his younger self. I'm in the belief that he is finding himself and realizing like what's truly important. Like he has that moment to where it's like my friends are in trouble, and like he really means it, and like that is changing him. And since he's getting to see himself from the other perspective of being the lost kid, it's kind of helping him realize, and he's having that moment to where it's like, well,
Okay.
shit, like this does work for me. Like I am in charge of my fate, blah, 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 blah. You know, he's having his I believe I am Superman moment, you know?
yeah. He's making the leap from being a kid to being a superhero, like a sidekick to a superhero type deal.
Mhm.
I get that. Let's talk about the cameos in that thing though, because I like the way they portrayed it. I thought it was pretty cool. It was simple. You know, it kind of made sense. I mean, except for the fact that he's just kind of standing there and the whole thing's around him. But I guess we're led to believe he's the one led to control and protect this red realm. Is that what I'm understanding?
I feel like he would be it's almost like he's the needle on the compass, and like he doesn't have anything to change how all of these cameos are living their lives. It just seems to be that he's able to see them now. He's able to, it's like almost like he's stretching his legs to get an idea of what this red thing is really truly capable of.
Right.
When I first saw, we'll take them in order. When I first saw the Flash, I'm like, well, that seems like underwhelming. Like, why are they just putting Flash in there? You know, like
Feels
Red
like a Speed
Lightning in
Force.
his green world, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I thought too. Like, you know, like it is similar to the Speed Force. It's similar to how each of their respective superheroes has their thing that they can do.
Mm-hmm.
But then you get Stargirl,
Yeah.
and like he crash lands because he's sitting there trying to make sense of like how this works. He saw the Flash, and now all of a sudden, like he's like, well, if I can see him, then I can see my family. And like, you know, he had that moment where like, well, I want to see my family. Then he crash lands in Nebraska of all freaking places, just like everyone else did in that show. So you get the Stargirl moment, and like I haven't watched Stargirl since it went to. Where did it go to?
Yes,
CW,
I haven't
I
watched this
think,
last
didn't it?
season.
Is it back on CW?
Yeah.
So, like, I'm not even current on what's happening there. I mean, there's a good chance they're going to be doing crossovers by what we figured out at the end of this show. But he just says a few words to her. And she's like, yeah, family is important. He's like, cool, got to bounce. Bye. And leaves. Then you get to see Swamp Thing, Shazam.
Yeah.
Who's the bald dude?
I couldn't remember, to be honest with you. I was looking at it and I was like, who was that?
Yeah, I meant to look it up. Totally forgot.
Yeah.
You got to see his Teen Titans version on a TV, you know, which was I thought was great.
Yeah.
You hear Harley, Joker, Dr. Fate. Who's the last one? Jonathan Kent. And then like you get even more Joker. Like I mean, just like it keeps going. Like you hear all these
that
voices.
was like the 60s. It was like the 60s Joker. I mean, that was.
I thought it was animated Joker. Like I was just listening to it. I'm like, is this the animated version of Joker?
If it's the animated Joker, right? Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure which one it is, but it was Harley Quinn, so I didn't know if they were just mixing.
It may have been. I don't know. It just had like just that, you know, that version of it.
They really leaned into the whole multiverse aspect of this.
And for the TV show, I wasn't extremely disappointed with how they did it. Like if this were anything bigger, I would have been disappointed. But like this has been a show that's been, I don't want to say underwhelming, but really had lackluster moments in it. And that's telling Sarah that when you stepped away, it's like for this episode to really make me be glued to it, I found it interesting. Like it doesn't feel like it has any roots to the story just yet, but I watched it nonstop. Like I was there.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to see what was going to happen with Gar because I had no idea. So that part was very interesting. And of course you had the end in moment.
Yeah.
Which was the back of the DP mansion. Doom Patrol people.
Yeah, so I wonder what they're doing with this because Doom Patrol's coming back too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if they're going. I mean, they've got to pick it up from right here. So, like you said, they're definitely we're going to see a crossover. Now, I wonder. We've already saw the Stargirl thing in here. Are we going to have a big crossover? And we've seen the Flash, but is the Flash? I'm sorry, I haven't paid attention. Is the Flash not over yet?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
And
I'm sorry. I feel bad.
Let me say this. My idea of what they can do can go one of two ways. Either they can take Gar completely out of the teen or out of the Titan story and put him into the ending of Doom Patrol.
Okay.
Or they can bring Doom Patrol back and help kind of save Titans, maybe for like a cliffhanger style ending, and then continue that into the second half of Doom Patrol.
Well, they did actually have the one moment with Raven where he was talking to her. I know it was kind of a hallucination where she was saying, "We're okay. We don't need you," type thing. Like, not like we don't need you, like, get out of here, but like, it's okay. Maybe you're right. Maybe he does finish off the last part of his deal with Doom Patrol and he doesn't come back to Titans.
Very much so.
And the whole deal with what was dude's name you said? The helmet?
Dominic.
Like, he was trying to talk him. He was telling him, he was like, "You don't need the Titans." This kind of thing. So
he's basically telling him, like, you don't need anybody.
Right. Maybe, man. That's interesting. I don't know.
I'm sorry, but when Saw Cyborg and then Beast Boy, all I could think of was Teen Titans Go.
Did you see the post-credit scene?
No. There's a post-credit scene. Dang it. I never watched it.
No. It is, but when you saw the animated version for the Teen Titans Go picture of him, it was like waffles.
Yeah.
At the very end, it was a cyborg just like waffles, and just eating waffles, eating Eggos.
Nice.
He just had one, just like took a bite out of it.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see where they go with this. Do you know when Doom Patrol comes back?
I'm assuming when like a week or two after this ends.
Okay. So we're not far away. We've only got what? That was episode 9?
Yeah. Episode 9, and
so we either have 1 or 3 episodes left.
Yeah, it should be 3 more episodes. I believe it's 6 and 6.
Okay. Well, it'll be interesting to see.
Well, we got to see Trigon at some point.
At some point, yeah, they got to go back to that storyline, which is kind of weird. They went totally away from this after the 2-parter last week. So,
that's not bad. Yeah, I don't know. I stopped trying to make sense of Titans a long time ago.
Maybe we talked it up because didn't we ask like where's Gar?
We did. And it's funny because like they made it look like Gar was in the like right in there in the scene whenever old boy became made his little transformation. I was like, was Gar there? I don't remember Gar ever being there, but apparently he was. I don't know. It wasn't.
When who made his transformation?
The Brother Blood.
Oh yeah.
Like was making his little transformation. Like you see Gar's there, and I'm like, I don't remember Gar being there. But
turns into Brother Blood.
Mm.
Come Wednesday night, it's at church.
All right, y'all want to move on? Because I'm itching to talk. I'm itching to talk about some Power Rangers.
All right.
Like, here's the thing.
Go Power Rangers!
This was a hour-long episode of Power Rangers, okay? And for me, like, I don't realize how much. And I'm not saying that I'm a huge Power Rangers fan. I love the books and everything else. I'm sure I would, but I haven't read them yet, okay? Or I haven't watched all the other stuff. But for the OG original stuff, that was my jam when I was younger. And I forget how much I loved it, because when I watch something like this and I hear the music and I see even the goofy stuff, I get goosebumps and it makes me tear up. And it's like, I just love this so much. And they did such a good job with this, because there are certain things about the old Power Rangers that needed to be changed, and they changed them. There were other things they needed to leave alone, and they left them alone. and they had a perfect balance of that, and they did a really good job of writing and putting people in and out of this story. Old actors coming back. It says it's listed as a series. This is the only one they're doing. I hate that, but yeah. Sarah, I know you're a big Power Rangers fan. What did you think?
Man, they just threw the nostalgia out there crazy. I mean, I like the way they handled Trini. I did like adding that to the story. I thought that was kind of like a, because watching Power Rangers is always like, you never really saw the baddies like kill. It's always something crazy, but I mean, it's like the explosions or something like that. But man, there was like a little more of a sense of like, don't mess with Rita. She's not playing. It was crazy. I was like, damn lady, you did whoa. I said, this is a whole new level of Rita. But yeah, getting that nostalgia. I mean, that was, hearing the voices and seeing the costume, seeing the suits, and that was just like, yeah, I was back in the 90s. I was just like, whoa, sitting in front of the TV, coming home from school. I was like, all right, yes. For something, let's turn on Fox and watch your Power Rangers.
The fact they didn't change the Putty's costumes at all, which is great because the Putty's costumes never really fit right in the show anyway. Okay, but they still don't really fit. And the fact that it just looks like a guy wearing a suit with a mask, like I love they didn't fix that. I do love they fix how they go away. That's something, little things like that are fine. But I love they didn't change that at all. Like it is exactly as far as the aesthetic goes, like the old show. I mean, a little bitty changes.
They still sound like wild turkeys.
Yeah, they still sound like wild turkeys. Exactly. Oh man, Ross, what'd you think?
I felt like I was facing watching something that I wasn't really happy with how they were doing the nostalgia. Let me preface this real fast. I got the nostalgia. I got all of what I felt like were all the important things that I needed to come across. They all came across to me.
Mm-hmm.
I picked it apart in a way that I didn't need to. And that's because I haven't had anything about it. And not only that, I haven't followed all of the other Power Ranger stuff. And so part of that felt extremely like I was at a loss. Like, I'm like, what am I walking back into? One main thing that I had in my mind while watching it is like, I know how bad the 97 Power Rangers movie was. I think it was when it came out.
Oh, bad.
No, listen to me. I know how bad that movie was, but I know how good it is to me.
Okay.
Right? Like, I know how much I enjoy it.
You pulled up. I got you. You pulled up.
Yeah. When they brought in all of the new Zords, it was, the Falcon, the whooping crane, like all these new things were coming in, and all that felt important. I loved all the ninja suits. I loved, the shitty plot of that movie. I hated Ivan the Ooze, no matter how good that guy is as an actor. I mean, it was just so tough to watch.
They didn't need it, man. They could have stuck with Rita. Yeah, they didn't need it.
Yeah.
I agree.
So, I'm lost in that also because, man, do I enjoy what that brought. But I felt like it also changed like for a little bit in the show, that they were able to use that stuff. So where's all that stuff gone? Back to like, I don't know where to reset the point to.
Mm-hmm.
And that had me like coming back and I'm like, well, they're trying to use all the old actors, which once again, great to your point, they did a good job of putting all the pieces and hiding the ball in the cup perfectly for me.
Mm-hmm.
It worked out, but man, like I was just like, I don't know where I'm at. Hold on a second. Like I have no bearing right now is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So White Chocolate Express says, still haven't watched it. Didn't know it was out yet. I think it just came out a couple days ago, didn't it? Yeah. It's only 55 minutes long. It's if you liked the original Power Rangers, it's you'll love it. You're right. The hiding the ball in the cut thing was perfect, Ross. That's a great way to put it because, like, here's the thing: is you've got to figure out a way to deal with the Trini character. You've got to figure out a way to deal with the Tommy character.
Mm-hmm.
You have two characters that are, I don't know what the guy who played what's his name, the original Red Ranger.
Austin St. John.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know what happened to him. Or so the only two real original characters you have is Billy and Zach. You know,
I remember when they
And the
changed those
acting is
characters
still
in
the
the
same.
show.
yeah, but I remember Rocky and Cat. I remember them being in
Mhm.
the show. You know, but I'm saying the originals weren't there, so they did a good job of writing that in there and explaining those things as they were going along. Like there were a couple things that I was asking a question about, and then a few minutes later they explained it, and I was like, okay, cool. They've weaved this together very well. Like I think they told a really good story. It's funny because when I look at the guy who plays Billy, all I can see for some reason is like Machio in what's
Cobra
it?
Kai.
Yeah, Cobra Kai.
Karate Kid.
Yeah, I don't know why he looks like him. The older version of him looks like the older version of Ralph Macchio.
So
Crazy.
you know him, David Yost. He's the real big backer behind this project.
Mm-hmm.
Like this has been his thing that he's been trying to get to bring to somewhere for a while now, and he's changed the story accordingly. I'm pretty sure many changes were made, even though we still have Austin and we still have Amy Jo.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that they were probably not really on board with like the final
Maybe
idea of doing this, and he was able to make all the adjustments necessary for this.
Mhm.
But there were just parts of it that I felt like maybe he shouldn't have had that kind of creative control with, because when I see Billy and Zach having their dialogue, and it's just the two of them, and there's been many asides in this episode or this show, this movie, whatever you want to call it, once and always, there's been very stale dialogue between the two of them, to where like they're having these what should be passionate conversations, like, like Trini just died, which, sorry, spoilers, I know people said they hadn't watched it yet, but really nothing's going to spoil you. I mean, it's a decent watch.
right.
But I'm like, where's the passion? Like, I know that Power Rangers has not always been like the most passionate thing for all of these teenagers with attitude, but we're like, where's the attitude? I know that they're not teenagers anymore, but give me attitude. Give me
Right.
something. Give me
That's
something.
what I'm saying, because like some of the acting, I mean, it was
It stale.
felt the same. I mean, there were certain ones that were a little more animated than others.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's
Even with the
definitely-
original.
yeah. It's definitely supposed to be like the original show. I don't think it's you don't watch it for the stellar acting. You watch it to be in this fantastical world. It's crazy.
And that's what
And
I
I have
was
to
telling
check
myself.
myself. That's me.
Yeah, that's the thing. We're
Don't be
making a
too
show that we
critical.
loved when we were kids. Now, here's the funny thing about it is, like, just talking about some things about this show is like, okay, so we're going full spoilers with this. So, if you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's a 55-minute thing. We're going full spoilers with this. They use a kill shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me the entire time you've been fighting, you haven't been using kill shots? What?
Rita's really pissed off now. That's what
Like,
it is.
are you
It's all
serious?
about the revenge.
like it's like, okay, like we're just messing around. Is it like a Batman and Joker thing? Like, what's
And
going
not-
on?
But
Not
you
even
still had
that.
the bad puns.
Yeah,
It's not even Rita anymore, right?
Now that was a cool story.
Robo
that,
Rita,
that was a
right?
cool little reveal.
Are you killing, or are you not killing? Like what?
yeah.
Where
that's
does that
true.
lie?
I didn't think about that.
Like,
that is the difference. You're right.
because I can put a bullet hole through a computer any day of the week, and it doesn't feel that bad.
That's a good point. But yeah, I mean, look, if they come out with something else in this, I'm gonna watch it. I loved it. I get it.
Yeah, you can't not.
This is just my jam when I was younger. I don't care. These are the baddest ass suits of any Power Rangers. I love these. The ones in the movies, the first movie, the one we were talking about, were okay too. Beyond that, it got just too crazy for me suits, and I kind of stopped following it anyway.
Yeah.
I am kind of mad though they put the Green Ranger in there. Like, seriously, where's White Ranger? Like, Green Ranger's gone. Like, give me.
And see, I feel like
I
that's
didn't follow
part of
along, but
that's part of Power Rangers lore that I'm not privy to, right? Like I haven't
Something could
followed
happen,
it
yeah.
enough to know all of that.
Mhm.
Because yes, White Ranger was the one that I followed. Even when they did the Stormtrooper suits in the movie, there was still something there that was there. So I think that the Trini death scene necessary, but man, the opening to this movie, cold open. and they just threw you into this like
Straight
with,
into it, yeah.
with nothing
Mhm.
else, like no
And I
knowledge,
was
like
like, what time period? What's going on
Yeah.
here? You know, I'm like, what?
that's why the whole thing felt a little off, right? And
Like these aliens only attack Angel Grove. They don't attack anywhere else in the world, y'all. So that's why they can just stay there. Nowhere else in the world.
the fact that I do feel like I remember Zach, like they told like their stories afterwards, you know, like whatever the ending of Power Rangers was, they're like, you know, Zach goes on and becomes a congressman, blah blah blah. But he just straight up drops out and is going to take care of this kid, which good on him.
Yeah,
you know, especially like if you know the means are there for heck. But Billy owns the, you know, whatever science thing. Apparently, he's been all over all the other Power Ranger shows, and I have no knowledge of.
built a
So you
flying
have
car.
Yeah, Cranston Technology with this VW. What in the world? I mean, this thing must have been in some other Power Ranger show because they.
How you hold
This
on to
is
that
a
one?
West Coast Custom Special. I mean, they came out of the garage and just like turned the wipers on. This bitch flies.
Dude, he controls a Megazord, man. I'm sure he's got to be able to have some kind of badass vehicle. You
Yeah.
know? So, like the concept in this is that I guess they don't have all the Rangers there now, so they've created different ways to control remotely with the power coins. Different characters, which is crazy because that way you still get to see the Megazord. Man, like I don't know. I would, like I said, if this comes out with another one because it says series, so I'm wondering if they're gonna come out with another one. I'll watch it. It's an hour-long episode of Power Rangers. I felt like I came home from school, you know, just sitting there watching it. It was fantastic.
I see. I kind of think that this is more like a documentary about what happens when you become too hardcore of a toy collector. You know, someone's going to come after you and shoot you
Maybe.
because those were toys. Those were like straight up pulled out of the plastic, off the shelf, off the hook figurines.
Yeah. Man, Power Rangers had the best figurines too. They had the ones that you could squeeze their legs together and it would flip their helmet from like head to like the helmet head. It was cool. It was like shh.
Just gotta go right out.
Loved them, man.
Right
awesome
over that
stuff. Awesome stuff. Action figures. They weren't dolls. They're action figures. All right. So, is there anything else y'all want to bring out about Star Wars, Power Rangers?
Power Rangers.
Like I said, we were going spoilers because we put one thing out there, but we didn't go super full spoilers. It's only a 55-minute show or maybe episode. We'll see. I recommend checking it out if you're a Power Rangers fan. I know the last movie, the Nick Saban's Power Rangers or Saban's Power Rangers, it hit me pretty good with a lot of nostalgic points, but it wasn't until the very, very end when they played the original music that it really, really got me. This one is full on original stuff. Like
it's the OG.
It's like you're watching a updated version or digitally remastered version of the original show. It's crazy.
Not to your Ralph Macchio point, but to the Cobra Kai point, it did a really good job of making it seem like it still existed, right? Like
this is just 30 years later in the exact same universe. Yeah.
I like the story that it did try to tell. You know, the whole thing is a feel good, learn how to deal with your shit type of story, and they did do that. It was done in a very Power Rangers like log over the head kind of way, but man, I didn't need the sing along at the end because I'm like, man, like I already felt bad like when it came to like losing the Power Rangers in my life when I was younger, and so to get it again, I'm like, man, like I remember watching that. Like there's weird things in my life that I remember. Like I do remember watching that scene. I'm like, this is nothing. This doesn't mean anything. And then you get older and you see it again. You're like, oh, that was all sorts of things. And then you get even older and you see it again. You're like, fuck, man, I already did this. Like, why are we doing this again? You're making me feel things.
Take you right in the feels, dude.
Yeah, it really did. I'd recommend it. Like I said, you got anything else you want to add on it? Because we still got two fantastic shows to talk about. But if you like Power Rangers, like I said, check it out. All right. What do y'all want to do? Which one do you want to do first? We got 2 finales. We got Picard and Mandalorian.
Well, one's a season and one's a series, so you might as well just go with the season.
Okay. So we're going with Mando then. All right. Cool deal. Well, let's start out. Ross?
I mean, it felt like a series finale.
They
They definitely put his ass in a cabin by the sea at the very end. I'm like, wait, are we done?
Well, it's the thing is, it's like, okay, I'm sorry. Everybody give kind of your overall thoughts, and then we'll dive into it. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Ross. Sorry.
I wish I would have watched these 2 episodes back to back. You definitely could have. It steamrolled right off of the last episode. There are action scenes in this that are fantastic. A lot of people have had problems with, I don't want to call it the depth, but I guess parts of the storytelling they're trying to do this season. I feel like there is a lot to be said for what they have done and not like what people expected. Because what they have done is essentially brought to you Clone Wars live action. I mean, they have found a way, in my point of view, to make this the one show that feels the most like it came from animated roots to live action. I love what Andor did. I love what Obi-Wan did. But man, Mando's had that otherworld vibe to it that has just been fantastic, and I love the way that they are tying in these stories. People get been upset with, like, I don't understand what the spy means. I don't understand what this episode is the return. Like, I don't understand all these things because there's been so many different outlooks. Last week it was the spies and trying to figure out who was the spy and what was happening. I have pieced together a lot of things now that the season has ended. And I feel much better about the episodes, like that one-off episode where they kind of had more on Coruscant. I understand that. I don't necessarily say that I think it was a great season directing thing that they did. But the show itself, I mean, like it came home. You can't say that you watched this and didn't feel things.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah.
There were, like, it's just impossible.
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely, you had to feel some kind of emotion afterwards. You're right. And it had to be some kind of almost extreme emotion. Like, you were either on one or the other. So I've kind of heard different points of view from different people. But Sarah, what do you think?
There was a lot going on.
Yeah.
There was a lot. I don't really know how I feel about it, honestly. It's like I said, I'm kind of glad it's the end of something, but it seems like it's the beginning of something else, or either it's the end of a couple of things, or it's kind of like when you built this up for so much and then it's over like in a blink of an eye, in essence. This blew my mind.
Yeah.
That blew my mind.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. Definitely. I'm gonna write that down.
You're just like, okay, what does that mean now? It's like, oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know, without, really getting into like a whole lot of, spoilers just yet, but I don't know. Like I said, it kind of does feel like the end of an era, end of a story. Like, okay, well, this is our end point here. Now, where do we go?
Right.
So, I don't know, I guess it's, now I'm more ready for Ahsoka, I guess, because now I feel like there's a little bit of an ending to this one. But this season has just been it's just had a different feel, than the last, the way the series had been kind of going. So, I'd like to see more of Mandalorians, to see, how they're going to kind of rebuild everything, because, it was nice seeing some green on their planet, to say the least.
Right.
But like I said, I'm just kind of curious about the, just kicking up the boots and being like, okay, here we go. Do I farm? What do I do?
It's almost what it feels like. Yeah.
What, do I watch floating frogs? I mean, what's going on? Starting the family. I mean,
okay.
That was kind of a wild turn right there.
Oh yeah. Look, there are things that I loved about this episode, and there are things that I not so much. loved about this episode. I can't say there's anything that I truly hate. Well, okay, yeah, there's one thing that I really don't like, but there's nothing I can do about it. So, it was a good finale. You're right. It did feel like a series finale. It felt like Mando's hanging it up type deal, which sucks because the best part of what I've seen so far with Mandalorian beyond the first season was this story with all the other Mandalorians, which I hope that we're not going to lose that in the future. But maybe that they're going to focus Mandalorian more of a story with this Ahsoka show coming up, which I'm cool with that too. I just don't want 2 episodes of Ahsoka to be 2 episodes of Mando, like they did with Boba Fett. But look, there's like I said, certain things about this that were really, really cool, and we're going to start to break it down here in a second. And then just certain things that I can kind of live with, and then certain things I'm just like, man, I just wish so badly they would have gone a different direction than they did right here. And we'll get around to all these points, but let me just start out. Sarah, you brought it up first. You let it there. Darksaber. What the hell's going on? Darksaber's gone, destroyed. Didn't see that one coming.
Is it?
We saw a body.
I mean, no. It is. He broke her hand with it in there, right? Like he squeezed her hand around it and broke it, didn't he?
So is the idea, but I mean, I also don't know what. It could go one of two ways. It could be he broke it and it's done for. Like now the thing that's been waiting on you as far as like a historical purpose, like is now gone and don't worry about it anymore. Or
he brought that up too.
We can fix it or we can rebuild it.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I don't know. It was a twist for me. I knew that it was going to come down to those two at the end in battle somehow, somewhere. Ross, you're right. It was cool because like at the you could have watched this as one episode because we end with Din Djarin being captured and walked away, and we start this one out with him just being, this right there, like going down the hallway after he's being walked away, and it wasn't very long he was captured. In this episode.
No.
Right. Yeah. All right. So I'll talk about something that I didn't like in this. Look, I've just been I've said I didn't think Grogu should be in the show anymore. I believe I think Favreau didn't want Grogu to be in this. They were going to write him out of the show, and I believe that he was pretty much forced to because it's such a marketing tool, and I get it. And now that we have Din Grogu, I don't think we're ever getting rid of him. Right? Like Din Grogu. Which is weird. Din's the first name?
Yeah. I know. It's been all over the place. Yeah.
Let's see.
I think that there is I think that what this season kind of did was course correct is not the right word, but I'm thinking that they had a story that they wanted to tell that now opens up like stories of Mandalore or Mandalorians. And I think that what they need to do also was put a bow somehow on the Mandalorian story and get it back to being focused on the Mandalorian. And I think that's important because of the story that they want to tell going forward. And that's how they are going to adopt it into this whole New Republic movie that will eventually come out. I don't think that there's going to be completely centric Mandalorian stories in Ahsoka, but I do think that you're going to see him pop in and out. I would like that personally, but I think they kind of got that vibe from fans, like, hey, you can't do that in a season of another show, but it's important to know that somehow they have to be connective. And now you went through all of this and separated in at the very end to do so. But what it took for that separation was this big, it's not a civil war, but this war to knock Gideon off the board. And they had a chance to bring Gideon back in such a big way. And look, they did. If you look at the scenes with Gideon in that suit, you can't tell me that he doesn't bring you like Vader vibes. He doesn't bring you all of these main villain vibes. And like, I don't care what people say, if they like it or they don't like it. You put that sucker in that suit with that voice. Nope. Like he's evil. Like he just screams evil.
Oh yeah. Well, White Chocolate Espresso asking the chat, he says, with the crystal destroyed, and how did he crush the Beskar saber? And my only thing with this is I feel like he has a Beskar suit on, and that suit has to be mechanical of some kind. He's basically Iron Man in that suit.
Oh, yeah, listen to
He's
it.
basically Vader without the Force, but
Mhm.
more machine. Like he's like Iron Man. You know, so in my mind, he's got a Beskar hand suit with the strength of a machine against a Beskar saber. He might be able
If
to
this
crush
were
that
like
with that.
steampunk or like arcane, there would be gears and like
Mhm.
like steam
Yeah.
pissing out of somewhere.
And he had
yeah.
digital awards or digital rank. Did you see that? Which was what's so funny? Like
Mhm.
lights right here with like
He's not the only one. If you've actually ever paid attention to like Boba Fett suit has a little bit of it going on. Like there's quite a bit of it that's out there.
Really?
That's not
Okay.
that's not just like a Moff Gideon thing.
Okay, I didn't notice that. Okay, was it just me or did anybody else think they missed the perfect moment to actually have Grogu say something right now? Like the moment Grogu talks better be a big effing moment, is all I'm saying. Because they missed it right there. Make him say this is the way. Damn it, make him say this is the way. He doesn't have to say the whole creed. Just make him say this is the way.
I thought
Stop
he could
making
have
him
just
coo and ka.
if they were like he's not
Oh.
old enough to say the creed, he'd just be like no, and like in his voice, like not even in the machine's voice, just like his voice. Like he's learned 2 words and they are yes and they are no.
Yeah.
And he's going to use them at the most inopportune times because he's a kid.
Yeah. They did look, Pickle Grizzly, so they did miss it. Look, this is one thing that bothered me about Grogu. They did a pretty decent job of being able to put him into the fight situation and do a good job. Grogu part of the Rey movies, yeah, that's a possibility. But they did a good job of being able to put him in this fight situation and make a little sense, or like make it make sense, like him stopping the guards from killing Din, but by no, them coming after him and then him running away and using what force ability he has to be able to make things work with the fight. I love that. That was a great idea. Stop making him coo like a fucking baby while he's doing it. That's what pisses me off. Like he's up there on the little lights running around and these guards are cutting these things down and he's I'm like, stop it. Stop.
I gotta tell you, man,
doing that.
From your point of view, you're saying stop, but I can't tell you how many different types of fans that's bringing in that aren't like Star Wars fans. That's bringing people's wives in to sit there and watch this show with them.
It brings the moment down.
I'm not joking. Like it's a thing I've heard around all over the place. You're right,
because they're not going to kill. They're not going to kill a little cute baby running around. Okay. And I get it. They're probably not going to kill Grogu anyway, but that takes it away even more.
Let me run this one by you, okay? Because this has been in my mind ever since the Grogu Mandalorian thing started to kind of have legs. It is the simple fact that in order to tell the full circle story, we have gone from the Darksaber created by Tar Vizsla, like, 1,000 years ago or something, and like he was the first Mandalorian Jedi. Now, I'm not sure on how many Jedi were actually Mandalorian after that, but that was a big thing back then in the lore of Star Wars. Mm-hmm. But now you're talking about having an apprentice with Jedi capabilities that is now growing up as a Mandalorian, and it's a flip opposite of what we had with the story of Tar Vizsla.
Yeah.
So it's doing it in a way that is possibly bigger than we even know yet, but I'm not sure that that's where the direction they're going to run with it. But I like to think in my mind of mind, heart of heart, Star Wars love that they're going to somehow tie this together to where it is parallel to that story somehow, some way.
I'm sure they're going to have something written well for it. And you're right, it probably is just me, in my opinion, because even Panther Pickle says his wife thinks he's so cute. But
yeah. It's a thing. I'm telling you.
I know. But so here you go. I love this. Kev says, when Bo-Katan came down with a jetpack and body checked Moff Gideon, why didn't she whip out the saber and do what Thor did to Thanos? I agree. Why didn't you know why? Because you had to destroy the saber some other way. Yeah. So here's the real question now. We've seen the clones destroyed, and we've seen Moff Gideon destroyed in this moment was that a clone or was that the last Moff Gideon? Is Gideon gone? Because I think he is, because
I would like
what
to
it,
think
what,
so.
what they were bringing him up to be was like somebody opposing Thrawn, because Thrawn's gone right now. We're about to get Thrawn back in Ahsoka, so I think getting rid of Moff Gideon gives us the opening, the door to bring Thrawn in as this shadow, whatever they are,
Shadow Council.
Shadow Council. Yeah. So the heir to the Empire. Like I don't know. I think he's gone. I think that was the end of Gideon.
It seems
I
like
think that's
he
why
is.
you don't. Sorry, I think that's why you don't see the Beskar suit, stormtroopers and anything else. You got to think about it. All these guys who are heads in the Empire at this time have ideas to move forward. Moff Gideon's was the Beskar suited Mandalorian stormtroopers. Thrawn had the fighters that he wanted to do, and then Vader's was the Death Star. So they all had their ideas of different ways they wanted to run the Empire. And these are, I guess, the main three guys at this time: Gideon, Thrawn, and Vader. So it's pretty cool to think about that.
Gideon seems like an offshoot, and Gideon seems like someone who is trying to use the knowledge that he has to create something for himself. It definitely seems extremely selfish.
Mhm.
The whole Dr. Pershing cloning, all that information seemed like it was him trying to get what he knew about. It's almost like he was read in on some of the Emperor's knowledge. Like he knew some of the plans that the Emperor had. And he's like, wait a second, I can use that. And he wanted to do it because he was facing the end. And if, it's survivalist mentality at best.
Right.
So he wanted to do it. He knew that Pershing knew the knowledge. And then he had someone there, right there near Pershing, who could take care of Pershing for him, which she did.
Right.
And then he was able to still have his clones and, eat his cake too. It was funny seeing that, Din was just like, screw this, like, kill them all. Like, we don't need this, With them being gone, I can only assume that was the original Gideon, and that the original Gideon, hopefully, is now dead. Okay. He was smart, if he wants to tie in cloning, Jedi abilities, which was why I believe he's somehow read in on like what the Emperor was trying to do, and then bring in the strongest metal in this universe, and what was the other thing he mentioned? It was cloning, the Mandalorians, and something else. But like he's trying to build like the trifecta, like the super suit that he knows of it at this point in time. And I mean, damn if he didn't get close.
Yeah. Well, look, White Tiger Espresso says someone says he looked a lot younger in that suit, saying he was maybe a clone. I'm still in the belief. I think, like me and Ross were saying, I hadn't got Sarah's opinion on it, that he's dead. But the only thing that would make it cool is if he was a clone was if Thrawn does come back and just does away with him. Like, you've been doing all this shit when you're gone. Cool. You're this badass. Watch this. Like just totally
Mexican cartels his ass. Whereas like you've been in a tunnel and you thought you survived. Well, you don't survive. You're dead.
That'd be the only cool way if he was a clone. What do you think, Sarah?
I didn't really think about the clone aspect, because I mean the clone thing just kind of threw me off, because I was like, oh, he is. What is this? It's like, even Dean's walking in, he's like, ooh, what is this? So yeah, I mean, like I said, I was just getting like all this, like I said, these Vader vibes, this trying to hold on to like the old school type thing. It's like, because you got the Mandalorians, and he's trying to throw in like the Force aspect of it, and just trying to hold on to like this old. I just felt like he was kind of like a relic, trying to hold on to everything, but he was trying to come up with new technology to help him survive. So I mean, I don't know. It was just, man, he was just giving some evil damn vibes, though. That was just, I had totally forgotten about that.
He's a good bad guy. I'll give you that. He's a good bad guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Star Wars does pretty good with bad guys.
Yeah,
I got a squirrel for you to chase.
Let's chase it.
What's that?
All right. So Ron Perlman, right?
Yes.
All right. So Ron Perlman was on a show that I listened to like 2 months ago. And he was asked by the guy on the show, he's like, I've always wanted to ask you, like, was that scene in Aliens Resurrection where you saw all the Ridleys, and they're all in there. Like one's got like an elbow sticking out of the head, and they're trying to recreate Ripley on Aliens. And he was like, "Was that real?" He was like, "Oh, was it real? It was a thing of nightmares, and it was delicious. It was so fun walking through there because like it was all practical effects."
Wow.
And so when my mind automatically goes to in this scene, like, why didn't they just do some weird shit? Like, the clones that didn't work out because he wasn't very good at like cloning stuff. I was waiting for it. And I'm like, when that one opens its eyes, I'm like, why couldn't it have like a, we'll go back to the beginning of this episode. Why couldn't it go back to having like a foot on its nose or something, like something really weird and something really off. But
yeah,
I love the idea of cloning technology going wrong when they're so good at it in this universe, but they killed off, the Kaminoans and their planet.
Yeah. So last episode we were talking about somebody being a traitor and who gave them away to the Empire, and we couldn't figure out who it was. And then I guess at the beginning of this episode, we knew it was the one from the Coruscant planet. That one you just mentioned the name a moment ago. I can't remember though. So the whole time I'm watching this, I'm looking for a spy, and like there's a scene where Homeboy goes up in the plane, goes up to the home ship, and he crashes that motherfucker down into the thing, which is an awesome way to go. Even though he got out,
coming in hot.
Cool. Yeah, but I love that idea, and I'm like, yeah, man, if that ship's going down, that's right, take him down with it. And it was cool that that's what ended up taking Moff Gideon down. That was a really well done scene, I think. It was cool. We got to see a Matrix fight. Like the B scene at the beginning where there's the jetpack fight. I like the idea of the jetpack fight, but you can't tell me that whenever like you see the pack of jetpack people flying, there's a bunch of them, they're twisted in formation. That reminds me like the third Matrix movie with all those machines with the arms like flying in. And I was like, oh, this kind of, then they all collided. And all this kind of looks like the Matrix right here. I kind of get it, but I like the jetpack.
You know what my problem with that scene was?
What's that?
Bo-Katan literally brought a knife to a gunfight. I mean, she's flying in with Darksaber, and I'm like, no, you just need to be shooting right now. Now is the time to shoot. Like, unless you're going to like
deflect,
mow them down, like I don't understand how this is going to work. And then you have the armor, same thing, bringing her hammers in, and I'm like, folks, I get it, but the only complaint that I have about the jetpacks overall is that they made it seem like it's such a big thing to join they called it Phoenix, but I can't remember what they called it. The Phoenix Order, I think, in order to get the jetpack in Mandalorian or in the Mandalorian culture, like you had to be spun up on the Phoenix Order, and that was a big thing for Din to get his jetpack because if you remember, he didn't have one from the get-go. And so I felt like now, you throw in all these troopers, you got Moff Gideon who has one, and like all of these Mandalorians have one, and he's just stealing one off of a stormtrooper. I'm like, why couldn't he have like gotten a jetpack way back when? Just be like, like, yeah, I'm part of the Phoenix Order. I know,
but sometimes, man, you gotta break some rules. You gotta break some.
It's rules. A jetpack, people. It's a jetpack.
It's just like he didn't take his helmet off, until that one moment.
They got to go back and amend that rule. It can't be not take your helmet off ever. It's got to be nobody can see you with your helmet off, right? Like that's got to be the rule.
That is the rule. But like I said, it's just I don't know. It's just crazy. It's like you're trying to eat something. You're like.
Because he does that in the first season, remember, doesn't he? In the first season, don't we see a scene where he lifts the helmet up and he's eating something?
Oh, before the chick, was it the first season or second season?
I thought it was the first season. I thought it was the first season. Yeah. I'm not sure, but I know we've seen it. So that's what I'm wondering. And then I think it was the end of the first season. What was the season they revealed his face? That was the season you saw him lift the helmet up and eat.
I think that was the second. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Either way. Anyway, let's talk about the Force bubble. That bother y'all?
Groot special.
Yeah, did that bother y'all?
Yeah, a little bit.
Really? Okay.
Not because I didn't believe it could happen, only because I saw it in Guardians of the Galaxy 1, and I thought that there was a better way they could have done it. But that's the only reason why it bothered me is because I felt like I've seen it before.
Okay.
Not that it robbed the moment of anything else other than that.
Okay. Sarah?
The only thing I'm thinking is, okay, Din's going to raise Grogu as Mandalorian. Dude, he has got to develop his Force abilities. I mean, that's the only thing I'm thinking. I'm like, are you not going to, or are you just going to naturally just evolve this way? You know, that's what I'm kind of conflicted about. I'm like, are you going to walk this way? Are you going to walk this way? Or are you going to be another like little, like a combination? So that's all that was kind of going through my mind. I mean, I thought it was cool. I thought it was great. You know, finally, because Grogu's actually doing something to help the group instead of, you know, being the one that's always protected. He's actually protecting someone else.
Yep.
I mean, I know there's been like, you know, other moments throughout the series, but this was like the first time where it was like really integral, like, dude, glad you're around, you know, that kind of thing. So, I don't know, but like I said, I'm just really conflicted on the whole, you know, just the Jedi versus Mandalorian type decision. So I don't know.
Get that. Kevin in the chat says, felt like him trying to clone himself was a rewrite. They were going for Snoke, but which did out at the last minute. So I guess
switch it out.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that makes sense. I guess that timeline wise and everything else, that would make sense that they're building a Snoke.
It
like,
definitely
how else are you gonna?
like
They've got to figure out some kind of way to put Snoke into the story, right?
Well, and I feel like
this
is a tangent off of that.
Okay.
I feel like they were like, that's why I'm saying, like, he's finding out about this information. Like he has access to the file, but he doesn't exactly know everything. So Gideon is trying to use it for his own selfish reasons rather than like what we come to find out is the bigger reason, you know, in 7, 8, and 9. So
all right.
No, I definitely got that vibe completely too, and that's why I believe what I believe about it.
All right. Kev says it was last episode, season 1. I don't know if that means the face reveal or the eating, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking of the other one where it was him and Bill Burr. But yeah, that is the first time I pulled his helmet off.
My coach says, y'all pray for me, zero energy. He's probably been podcasting every night this week, all week. I think I've been podcasting a lot this week too, almost every day. So I hear you, buddy. I would, zero energy. I hope it gets better. All right. What else do we want to talk about this season finale?
I'll talk about the Praetorian Guards real fast. I thought the fight was, I loved seeing them on screen. The whole thing felt a little, like tango-ish, but it was cool seeing them fight. Like, I need more of that to be comfortable long term with some of the stuff the sequel trilogy tried to do. Grogu got adopted. Yes. I thought the armor was going to be a little bit more shicey than she was. I'm glad to see that she wasn't. But I'm also like, yeah. Like we got to get armor answers. Like, I need answers.
About what?
Why she rocks the Maul style helmet. And why is she so like hardcore set in her beliefs? Like, there has to be a past with that woman that I just need to know something about. Now, I need a name. Okay, like, I know that she's the armor.
Even in the subtitles, it does say armor.
It's almost like the armor is like a religious title, like cardinal or like priest. Like that's.
Well, she's even alluded to the fact. It's like, do you recognize my station?
Right.
So yes, ma'am.
And that's why I say, like, I don't. But like a name would be good. Give me something like be personable, because you seem too mechanical. So that's what I'm looking for. You get the New Republic scene where he goes back and he's like, "Hey, look, this gun's for hire. So if you need me, like, here's my phone number. I'm gonna go chill out." He gets Grogu is like, like, let me get that IG face. All of a sudden, they got IG-11 back. Navarro has got their Marshal.
Yeah.
New paint job.
And
then Grogu and Din get their Obi-Wan cabin with, the sweet hot rod outside. And I think there's one tree to boot. So I was only missing him lift his mask up and take a drink and then, like, put it back down and be like, this is life.
Damn it! I had a point I wanted to bring about one thing you said a minute ago, but I've lost my train of thought again. It's okay. Let's come up. Sarah,
Warren sitting there sitting there on his front porch, just all right. I'm just finally gonna rest, watching the kid over there playing with the frogs. I'm like, God, it's like he eats that frog.
Yeah, I'm glad he
just watched him just kind of float there, and the frog's like.
Talk about trippy too, because like if you got a kid that could do that, like it comes in like it's real clutch in a fight, right? But if you're just watching a kid do that, you're like, oh man, like you're a demon. Like there's something very satanically wrong with you.
Yeah. Kev says he don't think we see the Mandalorians next season. It's just going to be them, the two on the Outer Rim. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know where they're going to go. I think they're tying this more into it. I think once again I think they're going to lean more into this Ahsoka story as far as where they're going forward in this universe and make a Mandalorian more part of this Ahsoka story. It's telling the Skywalker saga without telling the Skywalker saga. It's the stuff we haven't seen yet. They've done a lot of casting for the stuff, and I think that he's going to be a big part of that because once again, they don't have an end for Mandalorian. They've come out and said that. Like they're just going. So they could really just do a few episodes here, a few episodes there if they wanted to. They don't even have to have seasons. But I think that's honestly where they're going forward with is Ahsoka.
I think there will be Mandalorians, but like Bo and like the essential ones that come back in like maybe the flavor of the week episode. But the end is the New Republic movie. So whichever way they choose to get to that, it's their own story. And I do feel like that they will weave in and out of other storylines. So I think the Ahsoka show hopefully has its own plot. And I don't mind Din coming in, but I don't think Din's going to be a major aspect in it. I do think that they're going to lean more towards the story of, with the movie being called the New Republic movie, I think that means what they're trying to do is start to tell you how the New Republic gets to the point that it does in the sequel trilogy.
Right.
So whether or not
from the New Republic to First Order, I guess.
Yeah. Whether no, the New Republic, against the First Order, but how they coalesce, like what the New Republic is doing to turn into the New Republic, how they're faulting in their ways, or however they're doing more to try to be better. I think that's just all going to be washed out in the end. But you're seeing now one aspect of it to where it's like like you can't go and police everywhere, but hey, I can help. So once again, like gun for hire thing.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, I don't know how long it's going to be before Mandalorian 4 comes out or the season 4 comes out, but they've always done a good job. They were in kind of a lull for me at the beginning. They picked it up at the end. I like the finale. There are certain things I don't like about this show, but there are too many things that I love about it to make me not enjoy it. So, Sarah,
I'm kind of like in the same boat. I'm just curious to what they're going to do for fourth season. Just like which direction they're going to go. But like I said, I really think it's probably going to build off of Ahsoka. Because really, a lot of this is kind of building up towards that because this is going to be like, I think, the next big series.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm kind of saving my judgment for Mando 4 because just to kind of see how that one plays out. Because, I mean, there's a, opportunity of like really kind of building all both of them, kind of together.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, I just kind of organically see how it rolls out. I mean, we can have all kind of theories and whatnot, but I mean, I didn't really expect this season to go full Mandalorians, like that kind of.
Right.
I mean, that was a pleasant surprise. I mean, I'm not complaining at all. It was nice to kind of, to go back to Mandalore and to, get back to the roots of everything. Maybe Mandalorian season 4 will find out who the armor is. I mean, there's a lot of, theories about who she is and, that kind of thing. So that would be kind of interesting because she is one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, don't sell them out. Don't sell them out. But yeah, I loved it when she says, "Oh, got your cavalry coming. Got your reinforcements." So yeah, I think that's going to be pretty interesting. Just kind of see how that unfolds. But I think a lot of it's going to, like I said, dependent on how Ahsoka pans out.
Right.
I really feel like they'll be, woven together.
Ahsoka's gonna kill it. I'm so excited for this show, and I hate when I get so excited like this for certain things. But I am. I just can't help it. Like,
Just calm
y'all
down a
made me.
little
I
bit.
watched
Just calm
Rebels at the
down.
perfect time. I recently read the Thrawn books, like in the last couple of years. So it's like I'm just so ready for this show, especially where this is going now. It's gonna be fun. We'll see. I think Din Djarin's gonna be in Ahsoka. Let's put it that way. You'll see Mandalorian in at least one episode of Ahsoka Tano show. Just feel like you will. I don't know. We'll see what happens. You have anything else you want to say about Mando? We're wrapping this one up for a little while until we find out what happens in season 4.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
24 Mandalorian episodes.
Let's put it in the books. And speaking of putting it in the books, wrapping things up, let's hop into The Last Generation. Is that the name of the episode? The Last Generation?
Answer me this. Did you go back and watch all of it?
No, I didn't. You talking about those things at the very end? I did not. Sorry. I forgot.
Wait, the what?
Cool. There's a post-credit scene, I guess.
Oh.
Yeah. That I didn't go back and watch. But I will. Just a second. I'm sorry. I'll watch it for you. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch that. But look, let me tell you, I was so ready to come on this show and be like, told you, because they set it up not only for exactly what I said to happen as far as everybody who dies is going to die, but they set it up to happen almost the exact same way I said it was going to. They were going to crash the ship into the big green box. And I was like, victory for me. I win. And
nope.
I'm not celebrating now. Not that I would celebrate the death of people, but it's like, I truly did think, I was like, man, I called this one. Like, I called it down to a T. And no, I guess I didn't.
You got hung up on.
I did. Very much so. Sarah, I'll start this one with you.
Just overall. I did get a little concerned there in the beginning. I'm not gonna lie. I did get a little concerned there because I'm just like, what are y'all doing? Don't say goodbye. Don't say that shit. No. But it was kind of interesting how everything just kind of unfolded, because literally you're taking, storylines from 30 years ago and you're bringing them back to the forefront, and you're finally now getting resolution on it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I was kind of all over the place with this, because it was, there were certain things I was hoping I would see that I did see. I was hoping that we might see some other characters pop in that didn't, which I'm perfectly fine with that. It was pretty wild. I mean, it was just, I've enjoyed the writing throughout this whole series. I've enjoyed the way that they've I was, more how I've just been absolutely enthralled this season. I mean, just absolutely enthralled. I mean, there's not one episode where I feel like it was a filler. There's not one episode where I feel like it wasn't important. It wasn't, anything that didn't feel like, could have been, added or subtracted. I mean, it was just, it was awesome. I mean, that's all I can say. Like I said, without going into now, Pat, Pickle, I know you're saying expected more. I was good with what we got. I was good, because I was thinking, if there was any more, I don't think I could have handled it.
But doesn't it just open it up to where now, like, he could still come back and be part of this?
Well, I think it's
some aspect.
Well, like I said, if you had watched a little bit further, some of that shit would have made sense.
I hear you. Well, I'm gonna go back and do that here.
Ross is not saying a word. Because that last little part pretty much brought you full circle to the very first episode of Next Generation.
Got a mute my thing here. Ross, give me your overall thoughts. While you say that, I'm gonna mute my mic and watch the finals.
Just go past the poker. Just go past that.
All right. I will say that it was it's not that the writing was on the wall, but it was very easy to predict what they would do with the end of Patrick Stewart's Jean-Luc Picard, and that is bring his biggest
Like
foe,
fear.
or the biggest thing back to light in such a big way, and they did so. My problem with it, and why I kind of sided with Pickle on it, is that I expected more out of how they would have done it. I liked the evolution of the storytelling with the Borg. I like how they came back. I like how they grouped them together with the changelings, and it's like, hey, look, the two of us hate, the friend of my friend, or enemy of my enemy is my friend, and it's we can figure this out and move forward with it somehow, some way. I liked it. I liked how the Borg Queen was relentless and just kept going. Now, am I wrong to say that there was zero connectivity between this Borg Queen and the one that we had last season?
Yeah.
Because I wanted those roots with the
100%.
time travel to make sense, and I didn't feel like I got any of that. Like there was no payoff in that story to tell me that there was a way other than how they decided to figure out, once the changelings came into the big timeline picture, that she could use that technology of the changelings to make the teleporter work in a certain way. And like, if the transporter was going to be the way that they recode DNA, smart, love it, science, fantastic. I'm cool with it. Like, that makes sense, because if you're going to have a transporter that essentially encrypts and then decrypts DNA, why couldn't you add things to it? Because it's always been the laughing stock of every other, or hell, even Star Trek fans. It's like, well, imagine the first teleporter and you come back like Ripley Scott, all like elbows in places they don't belong, and all of a sudden you have an ear that has 5 hands on it. So none of it makes sense. But with the Borg, I felt like there was so much they could have done, and I felt like it was a preemptive ending rather than a totally unfolded story. And I say that because this whole season of this show, Greg's been saying that it's like, the best television show that we're watching. I love it just as much as like Sarah does, for all the nostalgic reasons. This episode gave us Anton Chekhov's son as the president, right? Like, they just keep trickling in all of these things. Love it. But what my beef is that there wasn't enough on the bone to eat. Like, I needed more. I needed the Borg to seem relentless in their comeback story. And what I got was a one-trick pony. And I mean all these things in a good way, because I'm not saying it was a bad way for Jean-Luc Picard to go out, because the story itself is about his son, and how he has finally found something to connect with, because he's always been not anti-kid, but like not pro-kid in the same picture. And so you weave that story in there with it, and like those two things intermingle, and next thing you have are sisters telling you a good story over things, and it works out. Like, it's all good. It's not a big, it was all very much there, but just not in the manner that I thought that they could have done it with. And that's what I was really worried about watching every episode of this show. It's like, I need them to get there faster, because I need that finale to be something fucking magical.
Well,
and I got a whole bunch of nostalgia, and I felt like I was just lacking on the magic a little bit.
Okay.
That's not saying something negative. Like, I'm not saying that like I hated it.
But you gotta critique it a little bit. We always have to critique things. So when you say the Borg weren't relentless enough, like which do you mean? Do you like the ones who were assimilated, the younger ones who were assimilated, or do you mean like the ones in the ship? With
if you're going to bring the Borg back, they got to come back in a big way. And I like the idea of what they were trying to do. I like how they were able to evolve, because she was like, it's not about
assimilation.
assimilation.
like
It's about
evolution
evolution.
now.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, whereas the old story of the Borg was very ones and zeros, very much like, once you're in, like you're in for life, and like all human emotion and thought is purged, and you are now part of the big brain computer. Like that's what the thing is. If you're going to bring that into a current story, like a current timeline, like our timeline, the world that you three live in here, it has to be bigger and badder. And I didn't feel like they did so, other than giving you a premise of things. And the evolution was a great premise.
Yeah.
But they didn't back it up with the visuals and like the true feeling of making the Borg more badass.
Well, from what I understand of it, like all the Borg were gone.
Yes.
It was just the Queen until she assimilated, until she hit the switch and struck the plan and assimilated all the Borg, all the younger kids. Because remember, she was feeding off the survivors for her to live. So that, I mean, I guess maybe that's why they weren't, because all the ones that had become assimilated just become assimilated. I'm not sure. Am I saying that right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So like, but I'm not sure, because like I felt like it kind of made sense, because I thought about it too, and I was like, why wouldn't you have seen any of this? But like they kind of answered that when they were going down there, and they're like, well, like there are none really alive, and the ones who are alive are just feeding her, so that way she can flip the switch, and now, like you said, it's gone from simulation to they can reproduce. These new ones can actually physically reproduce, right? That's the idea. I'll tell you the issue that I had with this, and it's like there's one, I didn't, like I said, I think they missed a golden opportunity for the Queen to not be the actress from last season. That walked away, that we never heard anything else about. That was the Borg Queen. They missed a golden opportunity there, and the fact they didn't show the face last time made it seem all the more likely that was going to be the case. And even on this episode, for the first few scenes, they don't show the face. I'm like, oh, it's definitely her, And maybe it was, but they didn't make any reference to it, and you couldn't tell by the way the face looked. But Picard's talking to her, right? And Jack's sitting there spitting out the stuff. And the whole episode, they're sitting there talking, right? And it gets about 3/4 of the way through the episode, right before the end, right before everything's going on. And he's like, I'm done with this. And he just starts unplugging. And the Borg Queen's like, no, right? Well, before that, the whole time, the Borg Queen's like, there's nothing you can do to stop me. Ha, ha, ha. It's done. This and that. And I'm like, really, all he has to do is go and plug him, and that was it? That's like so you're sitting there being cocky where you can't do anything at all. You're just sitting there. You can't do anything. And all he really has to do is go pull a few plugs out. But you're like, there's nothing you can do. Then when he pulls the plugs out, she's like, no. I was like, well, okay, that's a little Power Ranger-ish. For me right there, that part. And I was like, well, okay, I got that. But I guess it made a little more sense the way he assimilated himself. Right? Is that what he did? Sorry, I'm going right into the episode.
That's
the episode.
I mean, like, okay, well, number
we'll
one.
Talk about that later. Yeah.
Number one, Annie Wershing passed away. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. So she's the one that played the Borg on last season, Borg Queen. So she actually passed away. I'm not saying that I know
Queen
that
or
the Borg Queen.
The doctor who
the
Queen. The Borg Queen.
Okay, the actual Queen at the end. Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
So she actually passed away. She had a long battle with cancer, but I don't know if she passed away before she ever would have had a chance, or before she was sick enough to even be a part of this. I thought that they did a pretty good job of making her look decayed enough to where it's like that's not a big thing. Because watching it, I'm like, I thought that last week's episode where they didn't show her face was going to be a thing that they were just going to do because of that. So when they did show her face in this episode, in the finale, I was more like, I'm cool with that. Enough respect for that. To the next thing that you were talking about, which was, what was your second point?
About him just being standing for she was all cocky about how he can't do anything, and all he had to do really was walk up and unplug. Or, he could have just killed Jack. I mean, I hate to say it, but that's one other thing he could have just done right there that she couldn't do anything about. So I was kind of like, it seems like you're in a bad position right here.
Yeah. It's like you're holding cards, but yet you have no hands.
Right.
I know that Picard is what do they call him? Is he a symbiont? Is that what they're referring to him as? He's
I don't know.
he's not his true organic self, and so it's just funny that he's just like, I know where my USB port is, and like that, and just like jams it in, like
Yeah.
like I know right now there's a real big problem with people plugging their cell phones into like USB ports in airports. There's that's a
Yeah.
big beef, right? So like you just don't go jamming in a random cord somewhere. So it was very funny watching him do that, and I'm like, oh, whoa, bro, like this could have been a little bit more eventful, like. Once again, I don't hate it. I pick it apart because even though that we're fans, we want to make sense of it all, and that's what I feel
Yeah.
like this therapy session helps me do sometimes, is make sense of the things that I struggle with understanding sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, nothing's perfect, man, except for maybe Man of Steel.
I loved every bit of the next generation aspect they brought into this. Like, let's just talk about that for a second. I love how they brought Data back with all the different stories, and Data's more human than ever, to a point that he's, saying things like, I feel it in my gut. Data has a gut now. Like that's
annoying
that's
the
a thing.
doctor. He's annoying the doctor. He's so real.
He cries when he sees cats, and that's always been a weak point for him. Geordi is just like, I've been around and I know where I want to be, and I'm raising my girls, and I'm just trying to curate this museum while putting together the muscle car back in the garage back there, right? You get, which, let me circle back to Geordi later. You get Worf. You get, I mean, the Riker and Deanna story, just, it has depth to it. You had the moment to where, she's essentially feeling Riker saying goodbye in this episode. She's like, nope, I know where he's at now. Like, this fool's about to cry, and I want to see him shed tears. Like, I've never seen him cry in my life before. No. And then you get the Crusher and Patrick Stewart story. It's something that you're spent years and decades trying to understand, and it makes no sense. Now they're bringing it back, and it's like, boom, it's got a baby. I love the nostalgia.
Yeah. So Picard gets to ride off into the sunset, basically. And to be truly honest with you, like, doesn't that tie into, was it last season where at the beginning of it, it's a retired Admiral Picard in his vineyard? Doesn't that kind of loop back into that a little bit?
Go back and do that again.
I'm just saying, that. It kind of puts it in there, I want to talk. Let's talk about that Shaw review of 7 and 9, the final review. That was nice, heartwarming, great little review there. I like to get that. I hate the character died because I really liked him. I thought he was a good Star Trek character. I'm fairly new to Star Trek, but I liked him a lot. I could have seen him in a lot of things. It was fun. But I enjoyed that. So she was basically ready to quit because I guess she felt like she was getting fired. Because this is like a job. It's not the military, right? They have like military rankings, but this is basically a job. Like, you can just quit whenever you want to. You sign up and you go through training and rankings like in the military, but it's not contract work like the military, I'm assuming. Right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. More or less.
Okay. Well, because they're scientists. Explorers. Correct? Not military. I'm trying to think, what else about this episode do we want to talk about?
I'll hit my Geordi thing real fast. I feel like he was really emotionless for losing his daughters to the Borg, to going back and like, I'm going to go hang out with my friends. I just lost my kids. No big deal. I got the old Enterprise D back here hanging out. To seeing his daughters come back and not being like overcome with joy.
Yeah.
They make such a massive point about Thaddeus being gone for Riker and Deanna, but Geordi seems to be trying to protect his girls, and then like when his girls are gone, like it loses the depth there for that character for me.
Well, he did say, tell Mom we won't be home for dinner tonight before it all happened. But I mean, he had a little bit But yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess so. I didn't really pay much attention to that. I don't know, man. The character felt kind of off. There was one scene where I wish I could remember what the scene was, where the reaction that he had just should have been so much different than it was. And I looked at it and I was like, wow, it looks like he just didn't know that they were actually rolling at that moment. It's where he's standing with Data and like they're watching something happen, they see something happen, and like they should be like, whoa, like really emotional about it. And Data, I understand not being that, but he kind of was a little bit because I guess he's gaining emotion or whatever. But like the guy who plays Jordy was just like, it looked like he didn't even know like he was in the scene. It was weird. It felt kind of odd.
They did do the classic Data and Geordi look back at each other right before they were about to go into like the mess, right into the shit. And there's always that to where it's like, you got Picard and Riker back there talking, and then Picard barks the orders, or Riker says something, and then like you get Data and Geordi do that thing where they're like,
yeah,
push up on the controls, we're going in.
Yeah.
That part was good. I totally got major emotion with the Worf and Raffi scene. It was small and little, but I mean, like, you can't tell me that the Raphael character does not do like such a damn good job. She's a great actress.
So
she really pulls off
is. She really is. I agree. I'd love to see her in more stuff. I'd love to see her more Star Trek stuff, especially like with the character moving forward. And I think you're going to, with the way they kind of did this whole thing up. But so am I to understand, like, he basically leaked a lot of information out about the great stuff she's done to kind of clean her name?
Yeah.
Which, why was that stuff secret?
Well, when you're a part of that division of Starfleet, like, you're special ops, right? Like, your good deeds go unnoticed.
Right, but I mean, wouldn't Starfleet at least notice that? Like, I mean, if things go on, or she's like a kite type thing, like cut the cord, like you get caught doing something like we didn't have nothing to do with you type deal. Okay, I get that. Maybe. All right. Wow. I don't know, man. Love the show. End of the series. So, okay, I just watched the last episode, the past part about the poker thing, which I got to ask you, is that a big thing about Star Trek? Is them not poker, but playing cards, whatever they're playing?
That's a big 90s thing. If you watch a bunch of 90s TV shows, a lot of TV shows do that. I mean, Greg, you're like a big fan of, you watch Roseanne like all.
I was just going to say Roseanne, they play cards. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess so. Okay, so the last scene, Q introduced to Jack. For me, this means nothing. Like, I mean, it's cool. I know the character. Like, I got that, and I was like, oh, I know who that is. So that's all. Like, okay, cool. So, but what does that mean? You said that leads us into what?
It's basically when it's literally full circle back to where the Next Generation started, because the very first episode of the Next Generation was an encounter at Farpoint. So that's when you have the crew of the Enterprise, they're ready to go out, and then that's the first time you see Q. And Q, from his little whatever, basically puts humanity on trial. So in essence, since Jean-Luc has gone through all this, now Q's popped up and he wants to, and he's saying, yeah, Jean-Luc went through this. Now it's your turn. So like I said, it's kind of like full circle. So now you're back to the starting point where the Next Generation began.
So they're doing Next Generation with different characters?
Well, I don't know how they're really going to go forward with that, but I just thought it was really interesting because it might just be like a little trick in scene. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I'll watch the show.
Just another way to kind of like, that last, because you're saying the last generation now, are you going into like a new, is this going to be another, spinoff? Or is this going to be something because, and another point is you never heard Captain Seven say what she's going to say. I mean, she doesn't have her engage or her, whatever.
That kind of pissed me off. I'm not going to lie. That kind of pissed. But you know what? You're right. That does kind of allude to the fact of we'll be back. You'll see what this is. Or maybe it's just we couldn't think of anything badass to say. I don't think it's that, though. They're way smarter than me. Because I was sitting there thinking, I was like, what's she going to say? What's she going to say? I was trying to think of stuff. And then when I was like, oh, I missed it.
I don't know. See, I'm stuck with the whole like Enterprise G thing. Like I think the rebranding of ships was wrong. I think they could have brought out something totally new because let's be honest. Like that Enterprise F was pretty badass. Like, I love the look and design of that ship. I thought that it was solid. And they're just going to rechristen the USS Titan as the Enterprise G. Like, is the Enterprise G, does it hold its fucking torpedo sideways? Like, I don't know what's so G about it, right? There has to be something new. Sarah brought it up, and as soon as she said it, I'm like, yeah, I forgot to mention that last week. And then you actually said I forgot to mention that last week. Was that the release date drop for the Strange New Worlds? Because Strange New Worlds is it seems like a good fun show, and it's a total retake of the OG Star Trek story. What I'm gonna butt up against is the same thing that a lot of people have talked about for like Star Wars stuff. Fair weather fans may not understand the timeline. So how are you going to talk about the timeline here?
Yeah.
That's my only beef.
I don't know. I don't know enough about Star Trek to be upset with anything they've done, but I'm excited about things they're moving forward. I need to really dive into more Star Trek stuff because I haven't really watched anything of it that I don't enjoy. Still, the Kelvin timeline movies are my favorite part of Star Trek that I've seen so far, but I've really enjoyed this Picard series. I want to get more into it.
Sure. You should start by watching the first season.
Picard. Yeah, because I only watched 2 and 3. That's true. Well, I mean, what else? Is there anything else y'all want to bring up about this? We can wrap up Picard as a series. Do you ever think we'll see Patrick Stewart as Jean-Luc Picard again on screen?
I hope for his sake, no. Because I think that I think that it's his swan song, and I don't think that he's the type of person or actor that would want to, belittle that by any means. Mm-hmm. But I do think that they will try to entice him to come back. I hope that they don't, and if they do, I hope it's no more than like a,
video conference scene or something like that. Yeah. Comlink. Yeah. What do you think, Sarah?
It's kind of like I don't want to see him back because I want, like I said, the way they ended this, it's like, okay, dude, go live your life. Mm-hmm. Because this is going to be a difference from where he was when you first met him in the chateau to where now it's like, okay, I'm a little more fulfilled now. I have a little bit more to live for. I'm not just surviving.
Right.
I'm not just existing. I actually have something to enjoy a retirement and to enjoy, life, that kind of thing. So no, I kind of hope we don't, to be honest with you. I mean, I hate to say that, but I think this is it. I think this is a perfect final end. It's like, just go retire, dude. Just go live your life. Just go chill. You've earned it 100 tenfold over. You've earned it.
Yeah, I agree with both of y'all 100%. Like I said, I'm not even as deeply rooted as y'all are, but this seems like a good way to go out. Still think that going out like a total fucking gangster and just driving that ship into there and dying for the whole cause would have been a way to go too. But hey,
they made you
they're
feel
better riders. They're better riders than me. That's all I can say. What?
They definitely made you feel like there was a whole bunch of doom and gloom in this episode. Like, it's been a pleasure, I'm happy to serve with you all again, even though Worf was like, and I'm going to make it a threesome and make it weird. There's a whole bunch of lines in this episode that were very, very good and made you think that, oh shit, like I'm about to witness something that I'm not sure, like I'm ready to see. And they didn't do it. You got to see the best out of most of these characters. You got to see Riker still be funny. You got to see, Deanna still powerful, like in her ways as a counselor. You get to see Picard, sacrificing. Beverly's a badass. Like, where did she learn how to fire torpedoes and shit? She's like,
a lot's happened in the last 20 years.
Yep. I don't know. Like, there's just so much, I love love the scene, and it just goes back to being a Star Trek fan of Riker trying to pick up Worf's blade. When he's trying to pick that sucker up, he's like,
I had
"Whoa!"
no idea that thing was so heavy.
Yeah.
That was
He was
pretty
like,
good.
no, pull out the handle. Got into a knife fight, actually, now that
Mhm.
I think about that. There's just so many good little tidbits, but like I will stand by the fact that I wanted more, but I still think that I can get more going forward. Maybe this just was not the place for it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much more Star Trek going forward. Like I said, I don't know where the story goes. For me, it all makes sense right now until I start to get a little more roots into it. But good swan song for Picard. Patrick Stewart, man, just absolutely fantastic actor. I just don't want to see, like I said, maybe like a Comlink video or something like that. I could see something like that happen. But as far as him being in the show, I think or him being involved in Star Trek, I think it's pretty much done. I think you need to put that thing away. You know.
And in less than 2 months, you get a new Star Trek.
That's right. That's right. Which Strange New Worlds?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Season 2.
Okay. Well, we'll be checking that out. But yeah, that's all we got tonight. Lots of shows, awesome guests, really fun week. Do we have anything new coming up? Because we're losing 2 shows next week.
Oh, buddy. Next week, you get the NFL draft.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know that. That's Thursday night. Yeah, trust me. I got that. I got the NBA show
Sweet
Wednesday.
Tooth
I got the
drops.
draft night. Yeah. Oh gosh, sorry.
If you haven't watched Sweet Tooth,
I haven't.
the second season is about to drop on the 27th, which I think is next Friday, if I'm correct. Nope.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Today's 21st. No, that's not. It's not next Friday then. Thursday maybe, but it's on Netflix. The first season was really good. It's a good watch. I've heard a lot of people talk about it, and then the following week is busy. The following week is Guardians of the Galaxy 3,
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars Visions. It's all 9 episode drop. They're gonna be short episodes. It's gonna be good. So may the 4th be with you. I have been way behind on updating my list of things to come, so I have to go back and do some homework and see what else is going to come out.
Okay. Well, I'm sure it'll come along. Like there's certain things that I totally forgot about until Sarah said the other day. She's like, I watched the Power Rangers thing. And I was like, oh, I didn't even realize the Power Rangers thing was out. Awesome. And so you said that, I was like, yep, it's on my watch list. But y'all keep me posted on all those things. Well, let's go ahead and get out of here then, because I still got a little bit of work to do, and I'm hungry too. So, Ross, where can they find you at, buddy?
Only here.
I hear you. So come check them out. Sarah, what about you?
You can find me on the Twitter at Molly Kitten. And of course, you can chat with us, right here, Friday night. So,
yeah. You can find me at the Bat Daddy 52 on Twitter. And if you check that out, you can find out all the stuff I do on the GCS Podcast One's the show handle. Geeks Chasing Squirrels every Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm having an issue uploading the audio to my publisher right now, so bear with me on those. As soon as I can get those up, they'll all drop immediately, but you can always come to the YouTube channel and check it out anyway. It's a way more fun time because then you can see what people are talking about, read the text, everything else. And check out this beautiful beard and lovely Sarah, and Ross has always got something fun going on, man. So look, I'm at a loss for words. I had one thing I wanted to bring on and I said a total loss for words, but check us out. It's always a fun time. I can't wait till next week, and I'm sure I will talk to y'all tomorrow.
yeah,
right.
absolutely.
All right. Well, I'll keep pounding.
All right. Bye, guys.